All right. So the title of today's discussion is When God Tastes Himself Through Us, Sexual Alchemy. All right. So we're going to talk about kind of the merging of two perspectives of God into one. It's going to be a little bit different tone, right? So we're going to talk about alchemy. We're going to talk about the divinity of the sacred act of sex, to put it plainly. All right. So let me get right into it. We're going to start with a letter, and then we are going to break down this letter. We're going to talk about lust, but we're going to talk about it from the perspective of eros, right? Or that divine magnetism that draws you to another, that longing for another, right? We're going to talk about how that is simply God recognizing itself within another. So this is going to be, I think this will be interesting, okay? If you got strong feelings about a person that you're missing, this might not be the one that you want to listen to, right? But this is going to be a good discussion and understanding sexual transmutation and sexual alchemy. Cool. All right. Here we go. All right. So I'm going to start with the letter. I did post this the other day on my page, so you can always get this. But also remember, all of these lectures, all these discussions are going to be put on YouTube. You can get the letters. You can get the, some of y'all will probably use this as game, right? Just change up some words and send it to the person that you want. All right, just change up a couple words. You can send it to whoever you want. All right, so here we go. You were never just a body to me. You were a doorway, a trembling veil between heaven and form. When I touched you, the world fell away. The room disappeared into candlelight and breath, and I swear even the stars leaned closer to watch. Your skin tasted like the moment before lightning. My lips traced the path of creation itself, worshiping each rise and hollow as though God had written psalms there in secret. Every sigh that left your mouth felt like forgiveness. Every moan and absolution I didn't know I needed. You moved beneath me like prayer in motion, hips speaking a language older than scripture. When I entered you, it wasn't desire, it was return, the shattering of illusion, the undoing of the lie that God could ever be found anywhere but here, between your breath and mine. Right? So before we get to the second half, right, what we are going to discuss is the sacred act, right? When you seek that partner not for possession but for presence, when you recognize God within another. We've also often talked about the highest prayer, right? God doesn't need your love or your gratitude, but how does God recognize God? God recognizes God with presence. Whether I'm sitting with this cup of coffee and I'm simply present with it, right? This is God recognizing God. When you are with another, right, and you're conversing with them, you're having a conversation, and you are there, you are present. This is how God shows gratitude to God. This is the only gift that God requires. Not even requires. This is the true prayer. All right? So let's keep going. All right. So the undoing of the lie that God could ever be found anywhere but here, between your breath and mine. I felt the universe pulse inside you. Every thrust tore through time itself. Every heartbeat sinking to something infinite. You clung to me not out of need but recognition, the way a flame remembers the match that birthed it. Your fingers pressed into my back like you were trying to mark your initials on eternity. There was no separation, no man and woman, only rhythm. Only God moaning through us, tasting himself through the mouths of lovers too lost in devotion to pretend they were ever two. Could you get to this point of recognition within another with any kind of selfish desire, selfish need of possession for them? No. Ask yourself, is this a depth that you have reached within him? Ask yourself, when you think of that person that you quote unquote love, what is it that draws you to them? What is it that you require from them? Is the very act of being around them an opportunity for you to honor God through them? Or do you require something from them? Has it become a selfish act or a selfless act? What is it? The only way to get to that true level of devotion is truly to see God within another, right? We've talked about the different levels, right? We can look at life in 3 levels. We can look at life through the level of lust. I need you to give me something. Need you to give me something. Then we raise it up to love. You're my mirror. You show me my shortcomings. And then we rise it to the level of devotion. I look at you and I see God. When we make love, the space in between our breath is filled with God. You are God. This is God recognizing God. You can't get to this place without that, without recognizing that within another. All right? So here we go. Only God moaning through us, right? So let me back up a little bit. There was no separation, no man and woman, only rhythm. Only God moaning through us, tasting himself through the mouths of lovers too lost in devotion to pretend they were ever two. The air trembled, reality bent, and in the silence after, I swear I could hear angels breathing. You are not a memory to me, you are a sacrament. Every time I close my eyes, I still feel your warmth moving through my soul. I still taste the holiness of your release, the sweetness of surrender. What happened between us was not sin, it was scripture. We did not fall from grace, we became it. And in that moment, hear this, and in that moment, we proved that heaven is not somewhere we go. It is something we awaken in each other. I loved you with the kind of reverence that makes gods jealous. And if there is anything holier than that, I have yet to find it. All right? So we're going to break this down. We're going to break this down. How do you get to this level of devotion for another? All right? This isn't your typical SP story. This isn't your typical, I need you to come back so I can feel love. This is devotion. Right? This is when two people tear the veil of separation. The illusion of separation dissolves. So that's what we're going to talk about. That's what we're going to talk about, all right? When God takes himself through us. Sexual alchemy. All right? So 1 Corinthians 6:19. Do you not know that your bodies are temples of the Holy Spirit who is in you? Most people approach love as if it were a sin they must hide, rather than a sanctuary they must enter. They think God and pleasure live on opposite sides of the same door, never realizing that pleasure is one of the languages God speaks through. The body was never the enemy of the spirit. The body was never the enemy of the spirit. The body is the temple of the spirit. It was the first altar. The breath that entered Adam was God entering flesh. From the beginning, divinity longed to fill itself. Beautiful. All right, let's get into a little bit deeper. Every kiss, every tremble, every breath shared between two souls is the echo of that first inhalation of life. You're not dirty for desiring, right? You've never been dirty for desiring. What makes the desire dirty? Well, let's back it up. It's that illusion of separation, right? When I see people as separate from me, when I do not see you as God, right? I'm going to use you. I see you as an object, something to validate me, something to prove how good of a man I am. Oh, I can't wait, right? How often do we hear that? Oh, I can't wait to get a good man. So I'm just such a good woman. I can't wait to have a good man, to validate that. All right? We seek to use other people to validate the whole within us instead of honoring the God that this person is. Instead of realizing that this is God, recognizing God just simply behind the veil of another. All right? Every kiss is a remembrance of the moment spirit first kissed matter into being. Every tremble, every breath shared between two souls is the echo of that first divine inhalation. The moment when God exhaled himself into form and called it life. Desire is not the fall. Desire was never the fall. Okay? Desire was never the fall. It is the pulse of creation itself. So when we talk about desire, what is desire? What is desire? What was the first inclination, right? That allowed this spirit to want to experience itself through this divine vessel, which is you and me. It was desire. It was an urge. What is your desire now? It is source wanting to experience itself. This is all desire is. It has always been the same. And this was the quote unquote first desire. This is how sacred desire is. But when we view it from the lens of separation, it becomes something dirty. It becomes something to cast off. All right? Let's get into a little bit more. All right? So, boom, boom, boom. Where was I? Desire is not the fall. It is the pulse of creation itself, urging us to remember the sacred electricity that animates all things. When two beings meet in full presence, their bodies become prayer. Their eyes become gateways, right? The eyes are the windows of the soul. And what we call passion is simply the infinite recognizing itself through touch. You're not dirty for desiring, right? Part of your divine nature is to feel, is to desire, is to long. This is God. This is the Spirit of God moving within you. Desire is holy. Desire is holy, all right? Here we go. So the ache within you is not lust, corruption. It is God's longing to experience himself through you. The world has taught you to fear your own fire, to call your holiness shame. But the truth is this: divinity moves through the pulse, through the warmth, through the wildness of being alive. To feel deeply is worship. To feel deeply is holy. And when you honor that ache with reverence instead of guilt, with reverence, you rediscover what the mystics always knew, that heaven was never above you. It was always burning quietly beneath your skin. So your desire is always calling you to a deeper remembrance of who you are. It's God experiencing, God desiring to experience more of itself through you. God standing in the middle of God, desiring to experience more of itself. Holy. Holy. All right? So part one, the doorway between flesh and spirit. Okay? And so there was a line. When I touched them, it wasn't touch, it was initiation. It was initiation. All right? Their skin became scripture. Their breath became prayer. And the union itself became a liturgy that no church could contain. Right? So we thought holiness meant to be untouched, but holiness is not the absence of touch. It is the purity of intention behind it. This is the key, right? Because I'm not just saying go out there and stick whatever, okay? What I'm saying is the purity of intention. The purity of intention, okay? Now, how do we get to that purification of intention? How? Well, let's walk it down. All right? You've never been separate from Source. You are the temple of the Holy Spirit. You are the temple of God. Right? You are the identity of divinity. Right? You are the place where identity and divinity meet within your divineness. Now you have this desire, as Source had. Source in the quote unquote beginning had a desire to experience itself through you. So it was made manifest in the spiritual teachings. In the Bible, it's called Adam or Adamu or all of these different things. But either way, right? This divine vessel that was meant to hold the fullness of Source was created, and that was you. And now you walk through life experiencing yourself. So even the urge, the first desire, the reason why you are here is because Source had a desire to experience itself. So the desire, any desire that you feel is what? God, Spirit of God, desiring to experience itself, more of itself through you. All right? Now, how do we sanctify this? Well, we stop seeing the illusion of separation. And when I stop seeing the illusion of separation, you no longer become someone to simply walk over or use to get off. Us together become an altar. This is where God meets. God meets anytime I go within myself because I am God. My voice is the voice of God, but so is yours. So when we meet, it is God recognizing God. From that purity of intention, right? Now things become holy. I don't seek to use you or possess you or diminish you or dim you. I seek to worship you, to honor you, right? To show reverence, to walk in truth when I'm in you. Right? Completely different way of looking at it. All right? So this is why when two souls meet in full awareness, not to possess, but to worship the divine within each other, their union becomes a doorway through which God re-enters the world. Beautiful. This is why mystics like Rumi wrote of lovers as mirrors of the beloved, right? So here's a beautiful quote by Rumi. This is love. To fly toward a secret sky, to cause 100 veils to fall each moment. To fly toward a secret sky, to cause 100 veils to fall each moment. Let's break that down. Love is not a destination. It is a sacred shedding of everything that once hid the truth of who we are. Each veil that falls is another illusion surrendered. Fear, pride, the desire to control, the need to be seen, the terror of being known. Love is the great dissolver, the quiet flame that burns away all pretense until nothing remains but naked presence. So with pure intention, when God meets God, when I as God meet this beautiful goddess as God, right? When we come with pure intention, we dissolve illusions. The veil constantly fades away. It's like peeling off an onion, right? It's why oftentimes in the spiritual space, they'll say, well, you can do all the work by yourself, but you really don't know until you get with somebody. This is true in a sense. This is true in a sense. Because for me to truly see you, right? For me to truly call forward this most beautiful version of you, this quote unquote vulnerable version of you, right? The most open version of God that there is, I also have to approach the situation openly. My bad, y'all. Stumbling over words and shit. I also have to approach the situation openly. Okay? Here we go. Every moment of true love is a flight into the unseen. A trust in what cannot be held yet holds everything. It is not safety that love promises, but freedom. The freedom to die to yourself and be reborn in another's eyes. The freedom to stand unclothed before the divine and whisper, I am still worthy. In that surrender, the heart grows wings and heaven ceases to be a place. It becomes a pulse within your chest, beating to the rhythm of eternity remembering itself. Each veil is another illusion, another layer of separation burned away by devotion. Beautiful. All right, so now part two, we're going to talk about the erotic as divine remembrance. Okay, eros. Okay, what does eros mean? Eros is the divine force of passionate love. Right, I hinted towards it in the beginning of the discussion. But what is eros? Eros is E-R-O-S. E-R-O-S. It's the divine force of passionate love that draws the soul toward unity through remembrance of oneness. Okay, so God desires to experience itself. And of course, you're physically attracted to this other person, to this woman, to this man, whatever you prefer, right? But on a deeper level, this is God desiring God. This is God seeking to know itself more through union with another. Beautiful. Beautiful, all right? It is the sacred current where desire becomes a devotion and the human becomes a vessel for the divine to taste itself through love. Absolutely beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. So eros, right? It's not lust. It's not lust. Let's get that out the way, right? Eros is not lust. It's completely different, all right? So eros is remembrance. It's the soul recognizing itself through another form. When the body quivers in ecstasy, it is not sin. It is spirit remembering its own vastness through sensation. It is the infinite collapsing into the finite and realizing it never stopped being whole. Right? That moment of ecstasy where all you are is I am. You know what I'm talking about. That moment of divine ecstasy where all you are is I am. You dissolve into oneness. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. So here we go. So let me see. So there is a Gnostic term. It is called hieros gamos. Hieros gamos. And of course the letter is going to be on the YouTube, so you can always pull it. All right. So what this is, okay, it is the sacred marriage of heaven and earth. Okay, masculine and feminine, yin and the yang, the creator and creation, above, below. It's basically the sacred marriage of polarities, right? It's the dissolving of polarities, of duality into oneness, is what it means. That's all this term means. All right. So in that moment, every breath was Genesis again. Let me get into it a little bit more. I kind of got to skip over that and come back to that later so this can make sense. All right. What is the difference between lust and eros? What is the difference between lust and divine love? Okay. Lust is simply hunger without presence. It's not the same thing at all. It's not the same thing at all. Lust is hunger without presence. Okay. Eros is the divine fire that awakens presence itself. Right? It is the moment the soul catches its reflection in another's eyes and realizes or recognizes, there I am. Through Eros, spirit disguises itself as longing to lead us home to the remembrance that what we seek is not in another, but revealed through them. What we seek is not in another. It is simply us. It is source being revealed through them. When Eros stirs within, it is not a call to possession, but to reverence, for you are witnessing God reaching toward God beneath the veil of skin. The energy of Eros is the bridge between heaven and earth, the current that turns touch into prayer and desire into devotion. It does not destroy purity, it reveals it. When two souls meet in the fullness of Eros, there is no seduction, just recognition. The way light recognizes its reflection in water. To feel that spark is to remember the ancient truth that spirit once whispered into flesh, that nothing in creation is separate from its source, and that even in the heat of passion, holiness breathes. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. All right? So the bottom line with all of this, where we are leading to, right, is that the enlightened, right, the awakened, the conscious does not seek to escape the body. Because if you listen to a lot of, let's say, religious talk or worldly talk, right, there is simply this call to eradicate lust. Right, like, the longing is bad, tame the flesh. When really the goal is to sanctify it. This urge is for a reason. This urge is holy. Right? It is understanding the difference between that divine desire, right? Sanctifying that desire and pure lust. Right? The desire to simply use another for your own satisfaction, for your own momentary pleasure, or the desire to worship God within another. The desire to use somebody simply because they can help you out with your lifestyle. They can give you the things that you want materialistically, or to understand that you are looking at God. Right? Two completely different mindsets. Right? And so why I wanted to read that letter first is to really put this in perspective. How many of you have experienced that depth of connection? Where you lay with someone and you feel like you dissolve into oneness with them. Where their presence becomes an opportunity to worship God. You can't do that through any kind of superficial love. You can't do that if you are simply looking at the world with the eyes of lust. What can I get from you? How can you satisfy me? Sure, those things come up, right? I doubt anybody's going to be in a relationship with somebody who does nothing for them, obviously. But how do you truly see this person? Do you understand that when you are in their presence, you're in the presence of God? Do you understand that when you are in their presence, you are in the presence of God? Vice versa, of course. But do you also understand this? Do you also understand this? Have you began to see the world through the eyes of devotion? So I'll say it again, right? The mystic does not seek to escape the body, but to sanctify it. And the first step of sanctification is the removal of the illusion of separation. Because now, from the perspective of oneness, that I am God, that you are God, now even my desire becomes holy. From separation, that's where all the issues start. Right? Even greed, all of that separation. I believe God is out there. The desire is out there. I will do anything. I don't believe that you are me. I don't see God in you. Therefore, I will step on your neck to get something from me. I'm purely looking at the world with the eyes of lust. Right? When the greater teaching, when we talk about overcoming greed or lust, the greater teaching isn't simply just to fast these things away. It's to go to the source, right? You're trying to fast these things away. It's like just putting a Band-Aid on it. It's not doing shit. You can't put a Band-Aid on a broken bone, right? You got to heal the foundation. What's the foundation? And I believe in separation. I have these desires and I do not feel closeness or oneness with source. I don't know myself as one with source. I don't know that these desires are source wanting to express itself through me. So I believe that these desires are something dirty. I either have to suppress them or I will do whatever to get them. I will step on you. I don't see you as God. I simply see me and everyone else. I have fallen too far into the illusion. So where a lot of things come from. They simply stem from that illusion of separation. And we take that shit right to the bedroom. When you're just looking at somebody as a way to release, a way to get off, a way to satisfy your vanity because they have money, or because she looks good, or because she does them nasty ass things that you like that you don't want to tell anybody else that you like. Right? We just use people to get off instead of realizing that no, when I'm with you, I'm in the presence of God. There's nothing outside of God. I begin to look at it all with devotion. Okay? So part 3, the language of union. The language of union. All right? So it was a line where I said, when I entered you, it was return. It was return. It was dissolving into oneness. Right? It was dissolving into the remembrance that there is only one. Right? So in that timeless instant, right, dissolving into God, there is no man or woman, no giver or receiver, right? Only rhythm, only the pulse of God. Only God tasting himself through the mouths of lovers too surrendered to remember the illusion of separation. If you remember the Song of Solomon, right, which is a beautiful love letter within Scripture, right? This is what it meant, okay? So there's a quote, there's a verse in the Song of Solomon that says, "Let him kiss me with the kisses of his mouth, for thy love is better than wine. Let him kiss me with the kisses of his mouth, for thy love is better than wine." Right? It was never merely about passion, because when two become one, the veil between heaven and earth grows thin enough for eternity to breathe through. Right? Let me see what part I want to go to. If I'm going to read through this, and I'm going to go to the reflection questions from the letter. Because I think at this point, I want to do the reflection questions and reflect on those. I think those would be powerful right now. Okay. In true sacred intimacy, the body becomes the chalice. If you know what a chalice is, if you go to church, there is something called communion, right? It's a church I guess I can say ritual. It's a sacrament, really. It's called communion. And what they do, so I was in the Catholic Church. I was born in the Catholic Church, went through communion. So what it is, it's this ritual where there is bread and there is wine. And these things are blessed, and it becomes a tribute to the Last Supper. If you're not familiar with the Last Supper, it is this symbolic moment in Scripture where Jesus gets his disciples around him and he breaks bread and wine with them. They share a Last Supper before he is quote unquote betrayed by Judas. He even calls out that one of you will betray me. Right? So the importance of the chalice, right, is the chalice simply holds the wine. That's it. The chalice in this sacrament of communion, it holds the wine. It's symbolic of, and really when you look at it metaphysically, okay, the wine kind of represents the blood, right? The chalice represents being filled, right, with that quote unquote blood. But you could just simply think of it as being filled with the Spirit of Christ, right, which is the Spirit of God, which is just your natural essence, right? Cool. So in true sacred intimacy, the body becomes the chalice and love becomes communion. So love is simply the recognition of God within these two bodies, these two vessels. And even when we're intertwined, we are simply filling each other up with love. That's it. All right? So the breath exchange is prayer, and climax becomes transcendence, the brief moment where the I dissolves and only I am remains. Right? I talked about that a little bit earlier. That moment of surrender where all of a sudden, boom. All of a sudden, boom. Okay? It becomes nothing but I am. It becomes nothing but I am. So that is why ancient mystics called union a small death. Not a death of sin, but the death of separation. In the dying, you become reborn. Not as two, but as the one remembering itself through the dance of polarity. All right? This is divine alchemy. Sex becomes the laboratory where spirit experiments with form, and love becomes the fire that fuses opposites into unity. Beautiful. So part 5, the afterglow of eternity. All right? So a sacrament, right? It was a line that said, "You are not a memory to me, you are a sacrament." You are not a memory to me, you are a sacrament. A sacrament, right? Just like we talked about with communion. Okay, it's a sacrament. I think in the Catholic Church there are 7 sacraments, I believe. 7 sacraments. But a sacrament is something through which invisible grace becomes visible. Metaphysically, that's all it means. Through which invisible grace becomes visible. That is what happens when love transcends possession and becomes presence. You don't make love to the person. You make love through them to the God within them. And when the body fades, the vibration remains. And what do I mean by that? What do I mean by that? It is why you still feel them in your soul, because it was never them. It was you recognizing God. See, we mistake what we feel, what lingers behind, as simply the desire for that physical vessel, but that's not what it was. Because it was always simply God longing to experience itself through this person. And we begin to honor others as the divine vessels, as the true temples of the Holy Spirit, instead of just things to use. Things to use just to get to what we want, our selfish desires. When we begin to look at people with reverence, now we can reach deeper and deeper and deeper levels of intimacy, which is what you want, which is what you desire. This is the natural urge of the divine to experience more and more and more and more and more of itself, to continue to peel away that veil of illusion, moment after moment after moment after moment. This is what you desire. Why lie and say it's not? All right, so reflection questions. Number 1. What if every touch, every gaze, every moment of intimacy was prayer? What if just catching a beautiful woman, right? Y'all lock eyes for a second, you just smile at each other. What if this is simply a way of you recognizing the God within another? What if every touch, every gaze, every moment of intimacy was prayer? Which it is. Let's go even further than that, right? Because I'm not just talking about this. Like, this is focused, right, in a sexual way, of course, right? But it's not just these things that are prayer, right? When you're sitting in nature in the silence and you listen to the wind just blow between the leaves, that is prayer. This is the voice of God humming, right? Where you are sitting in front of your mother or your father, who is God, right? Because remember, nothing is outside of God. If God is omnipresent, all that there is nothing outside of God. So your presence with everything is prayer. This is God recognizing God. When I sit and I give my mother my presence, I'm giving God my presence. When I give my father or my sister or my friend, the person you don't like. When I give them presents, I'm giving God presents. It's all God. What isn't God? What isn't God? Okay? Number 2, what would change if you realized that your body is not blocking God, but revealing him? What would change if you realized that your body is not blocking God, but revealing him? That these desires that you have aren't these unholy, dirty things to throw away, but they're just ways to sanctify that desire. It's just asking you to purify that desire. Remember your oneness. Remember what that desire truly is. And one thing that I learned, right, as I started to really kind of get involved romantically with what I say romantically, right, is that anybody can do a lot of tricks, right? But what actually makes the sexual encounter beautiful, most fulfilling? It was the connection. Now, I couldn't truly explain what connection meant for a while, but I knew that the more connected I was to this person, the better it would be. Yeah, the tricks, oh yeah, that was cool. You know, you can do all kinds of stuff, right? But the connection is what made it feel special. Is what gave it more satisfaction. Is what kept me there. What does that even mean? What does that even mean? Well, sex has never simply just been two bodies rubbing against each other. It has always been the dissolving of two into one. It has always been this divine representation of the dissolving of the illusion of separation. So on a micro level, we're trying to get to that point within ourselves and dissolve this illusion of separation. And remember that there is no I, there is only God. But also now when I'm with someone else and I know that I am honoring God, this is God recognizing God through them. Right? Now this allows me to have a holier union with them. I no longer look to simply use you. I see you as the vessel of God. We dissolve into oneness together. Right? A beautiful way to look at it. And then number 3, could you love in such a way that heaven would pause to listen? Could you love in such a way that heaven would pause to listen? Of course you can. Of course you can. All right. So I'm going to read these letters one more time. All right. I'm going to read the first letter. Then the second letter is going to be a letter to a lover as well. And then we're going to do an adoration. So sit back and relax. It's going to be kind of a drawn out reading. All right. Cool. So this first one is going to represent basically divine union. When you truly choose to see someone as God, right? And you begin to dissolve within them. That illusion of separation starts to disappear. Okay. And the second one is going to be a letter as if someone is asking you, what is it like to love me? What is it like to love me? And now with the devotion that you see, right? With the God that you see them as, it's going to be your description of them. And I want you to think, right? I really want you to challenge yourself. Are you capable of seeing that person that you want, that person that you're with, as God? We talk a lot about the knowing that I am that I am. And sometimes we get so caught up in the manifestation space that nobody else is real that we can just completely kind of lose touch with reality and forget that, well, they're real, okay, that you are honoring God when you honor another. Let me just put it as simply as that. And then we'll go into a little bit more detail. All right, so here's the first letter. All right? So this is the way that you feel when you dissolve within someone. All right? You were never just a body to me. You were a doorway, a trembling veil between heaven and form. When I touched you, the world fell away. The room disappeared into candlelight and breath, and I swear even the stars leaned closer to watch. Your skin tasted like the moment before lightning, electric and divine. My lips traced the path of creation itself, worshiping each rise and hollow, as though God had written psalms there in secret. Every sigh that left your mouth felt like forgiveness, every moan an absolution I didn't know I needed. You moved beneath me like prayer in motion, hips speaking a language older than scripture. When I entered you, it wasn't desire, it was return, the shattering of illusion, the undoing of the lie that God could ever be found anywhere but here, between your breath and mine. I felt the universe pulse inside you. Every thrust tore through time itself, every heartbeat sinking to something infinite. You clung to me not out of need, but recognition, the way a flame remembers the match that birthed it. Your fingers pressed into my back like you were trying to mark your initials on eternity. There was no separation, no man and woman, only rhythm, only God moaning through us, tasting himself through the mouths of lovers too lost in devotion to pretend they were ever two. The air trembled, reality bent, and in the silence after, I swear I could hear angels breathing. You are not a memory to me, you are a sacrament. Every time I close my eyes, I still feel your warmth moving through my soul. I still taste the holiness of your release, the sweetness of surrender. What happened between us was not sin, it was scripture. We did not fall from grace, we became it. And in that moment, we proved that heaven is not somewhere we go. It is something we awaken in each other. I loved you with the kind of reverence that makes gods jealous. And if there is anything holier than that, I have yet to find it. Right? Can you reach this level of oneness? Can you reach this level of devotion with someone if you are purely looking at them transactionally and you are not honoring them as God? Simple answer is no. The simple answer is no. This is it. This is it, right? To begin to look at people through the eyes of devotion, right? I've talked about it. Right? This is manifesting SP 101. I see you as God. I give you the energetic space for the most beautiful version of you to show up. When I see you, I'm looking at God. When I think of you, I am thinking of God. I give myself permission to fall in love with the version of you that I want. That's it. I got y'all. All right. And so next letter. Okay. Next letter. So this is someone asking you, okay, define how I feel about you, or define how you feel about me. All right. And so that's the defining from the perspective of seeing God within this person, or seeing this person as God. Okay. There are moments that do not belong to time. What happened between us was one of them. It wasn't merely the meeting of skin, but of soul remembering itself through touch. I have tried to call it love, but love feels too small a word for what trembled through us. It was recognition. It was creation remembering the sound of its own name. When I touched you, it wasn't to claim, it was to worship. Your body was the altar, my breath the prayer, and every movement was an offering to the one we became. I did not want to own you. I wanted to dissolve in you, to vanish into that radiant stillness where even breath bows before presence. You once asked me what heaven feels like. I didn't know then, but now I do. It feels like you arching toward me in surrender, like our hearts sinking until there is no sound but God inhaling through two bodies that forgot they were separate. It feels like the silence after ecstasy, when everything has been said through the language of moans and light. Since that night, I no longer pray upward. I pray inward. Because you taught me that the divine does not hide in clouds or temples, but in the trembling pulse of two souls who dare to see God in each other's eyes. When I think of you now, I remember. And remembrance is a kind of resurrection. You are not mine, and I am not yours. We belong to the eternal flame that made us both. The one that called us to each other, not for possession, but for awakening. What we shared was not a sin against heaven. It was heaven revealing itself through the mystery of flesh. If ever you forget who you are, close your eyes and feel the way the stars bend around your breath. Remember how the universe quaked when you opened your heart. Remember that you are both the fire and the one who prays beside it. I carry you not as a memory, but as presence. Not as past, but as proof that God has always been nearer than the next breath. And should our bodies never meet again, know this, you are still here in every heartbeat that knows the taste of eternity. Right? I am that I am. Right? No matter what. This has always been the goal, right? This is what you want, to dissolve into oneness with that one you adore. Have you given yourself permission to see them as God? Have you given yourself permission to experience the fullness of God within your relationship, within your life? Have you? All right, so last is an adoration. This is pretty quick, okay? It's just like 8 lines, okay? I adore the divine that trembles in the pulse of passion, the holiness that hides behind breath. I adore the God who moans through creation, and the spirit who kisses itself awake in human skin. For there is no separation, no higher or lower, no sacred or profane, only one presence remembering itself in the sweet collapse of lovers who have forgotten how to pretend they are two. In the sweet collapse of lovers who have forgotten how to pretend they are two. This is what you long for, isn't it? It's what you long for. It's what you want, right? It's what you need, right? To stop pretending that you are a mere mortal, right? And to be called into the God that you are. To be called into the God that you are, right? Remember who you are. Remember who you are. You deserve and desire nothing less. This is God desiring through you. And when you really realize, when you truly realize, right, that it's all God, you will no longer place them all with love. You will no longer see anyone as less than divine, especially that one that you have not given yourself permission to love fully. Right? There is no separation. There is no them and you. Right? There is only God. Allow God to express himself through you. Allow God to express himself through you. Okay. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. All right. Appreciate y'all. So let's do questions. Let's do some questions for a little bit. But hopefully y'all enjoyed that conversation. I thought it was cool. It was a nice change of pace. You know, we've been talking about y'all's little SPs for so long. And I've been talking about devotion. See them with devotion. Right? So now it's like, let's talk about devotion. Oh, and did I yeah, something like that. So all of these documents, of course, are on YouTube. Right? So I upload all these to YouTube. So you can always get them. You can download them. You can take the letters, you can rewrite them a little bit and send them to the person that you want and be like, I just was thinking of you and I wrote this letter for your ass. Do it and see what happens. Right? But yeah. So, how to allow it though in the day-to-day sense? It's a choice, right? It's a choice to continue to see this person as divine no matter what. And what you're gonna see is, okay, here's the story that I always tell, right? Is that me and my dad's relationship was always very interesting. Okay. He was what I would have considered controlling when I was younger. Right? But I've always thought that my dad was extremely brilliant. One of the smartest men I know, if not the smartest man I know. Let's not even beat around the bush, right? And he didn't sugarcoat anything, right? Nigerian father, he didn't sugarcoat anything. So he would just tell me, okay, this is what's gonna happen. This is what's gonna happen. Don't do this, right? And so in my youth, I could not take that as guidance. It felt like control. And what this caused me to do is not just ignore his advice, but ignore anybody who came off like an authority figure, anyone who expressed that they believed they knew better than I could not listen to him. Okay. This led me, of course, down a perfect path, which allowed me to kind of fend for myself and learn these lessons myself. However, it was a few years ago where I really kind of woke up to the realization that I'm not even allowing my dad to express him in the most beautiful way that I see him as. Meaning, if you ask me about my dad, I'm going to say this is the most brilliant man I know. However, by me rejecting his advice, I'm denying him the opportunity to come forward and show me the most beautiful of his gifts. So I want you to imagine his perspective. Right? I'm trying to give you the best of me. I'm brilliant. I'm trying to give you the best of me, which is my intelligence and my complete rejection of it. And so when I finally started to change my perspective and say, okay, well, no, I see you as perfect, as divine, as whole. And I simply know that that's how you're loving me. Did that mean that my dad wasn't loving me before? No, but now that I accepted him in his fullness, now I could actually receive that love in this beautiful way. Here's the beauty as well as seeing others through the eyes of devotion. Is that my focus on the thing that I didn't like denied me the opportunity to actually relax and enjoy the things that I did like and actually see things I did like. What is going to happen when you begin to look at others through the eyes of devotion is you're going to realize that they're going to show up and they're going to start doing things for you that you like and you didn't expect they were going to do. But when you're constantly focused on the things you don't like, on seeing this person as imperfect, right? You have put on the shit colored glasses and now you can only see shitty scenes in reality. You're going to constantly get more and more shit because that's what you're calling for. That's the identity that you have chosen. But when you decide to look at others through the eyes of devotion, when I look at you, I see God. When I speak to you, I'm speaking to God. When I'm in your presence, I'm in the presence of God. I honor you. I honor you. I see you with the eyes of devotion. Now you give them the quote unquote energetic space for the best, most beautiful version of them to show up, which is what you want anyway. This is why when you decide who you are, when you decide that you are the center, you are the source, it does not just change your reality, but you also change the reality of others around you. The love letter was fire, right? Did you like the first or the second one more? I feel like reading it again, actually. The first or the second one? I'll read it again. I got you. All right, I'll read them again. I got you. Appreciate y'all. All right, here we go. All right. I'm gonna read the first one and the second one. Right. So of course the first one is really describing. And for anybody who just joined, let's talk about this. All right. So I want you to listen to this. I want you to think, all right, and just ponder and reflect and be honest and say, could I get to this level of intimacy with someone if I'm purely viewing the relationship as transactional? Okay? So the first letter is simply, think of it as a love letter describing the intimacy that you feel towards another. All right? So here we go. You were never just a body to me. You were a doorway, a trembling veil between heaven and form. When I touched you, the world fell away. The room disappeared into candlelight and breath, and I swear even the stars leaned closer to watch. Your skin tasted like the moment before lightning, electric and divine. My lips traced the path of creation itself, worshiping each rise and hollow as though God had written psalms there in secret. Every sigh that left your mouth felt like forgiveness. Every moan an absolution I didn't know I needed. You moved beneath me like prayer in motion, hips speaking a language older than scripture. When I entered you, it wasn't desire, it was return. The shattering of illusion, the undoing of the lie that God could ever be found anywhere but here, between your breath and mine. I felt the universe pulse inside you. Every thrust tore through time itself, every heartbeat sinking to something infinite. You clung to me not out of need, but recognition, the way a flame remembers the match that birthed it. Your fingers pressed into my back like you were trying to mark your initials on eternity. There was no separation, no man and woman, only rhythm, only God moaning through us, tasting himself through the mouths of lovers too lost in devotion to pretend they were ever two. The air trembled, reality bent, and in that silence, after, I swear I could hear angels breathing. You are not a memory to me, you are a sacrament. Every time I close my eyes, I still feel your warmth moving through my soul. I still taste the holiness of your release, the sweetest of surrender, the sweetness of surrender. What happened between us was not sin, it was scripture. We did not fall from grace, we became it. And in that moment, we proved that heaven is not somewhere we go. It is something we awaken in each other. I loved you with the kind of reverence that makes God's jealous. And if there is anything holier than that, I have yet to find it. Can you get to that point without seeing someone through the eyes of devotion? Without seeing this person as the walking temple of God? I would argue no. I would argue that you cannot. I would argue that this viewpoint requires devotion. That you couldn't even sit down and imagine and write this without thinking of someone through the eyes of devotion. Okay, now the second one. Second one, okay? So this second one is someone, let's say that someone is asking you, okay, like, hey, how do you see me? How do you see me? Okay? And this is the same question. How could you choose to see someone through the eyes of devotion? All right, here we go. There are moments that do not belong to time. What happened between us was one of them. It wasn't merely the meeting of skin, but of soul remembering itself through touch. I have tried to call it love, but love feels too small a word for what trembled through us. It was recognition. It was creation remembering the sound of its own name. When I touched you, it wasn't to claim, it was to worship. Your body was the altar, my breath the prayer, and every movement was an offering to the one we became. I did not want to own you. I wanted to dissolve in you, to vanish into that radiant stillness where where even breath bows before presence. You once asked me what heaven feels like. I didn't know then, but now I do. It feels like you arching toward me in surrender, like our hearts sinking until there is no sound but God inhaling through two bodies that forgot they were separate. It feels like the silence after ecstasy, when everything has been said through the language of moans and light. Since that night, I no longer pray upward, I pray inward. Because you taught me that the divine does not hide in clouds or temples, but in the trembling pulse of two souls who dare to see God in each other's eyes. When I think of you now, I remember, and remembrance is a kind of resurrection. You are not mine, and I am not yours. We belong to the eternal flame that made us both, the one that called us to each other not for possession, but for awakening. What we shared was not a sin against heaven, it was heaven revealing itself through the mystery of flesh. If ever you forget who you are, close your eyes and feel the way the stars bend around your breath. Remember how the universe quaked when you opened your heart. Remember that you are both the fire and the one who prays beside it. I carry you not as memory, but as presence, not as past, but as proof that God has always been nearer than the next breath. And should our bodies never meet again, know this, you are still here in every heartbeat that knows the taste of eternity. Right? Devotion. It's not possession, pure devotion. Pure devotion. You're not a possession. You're not something to possess. You are something to be worshipped. You are not something to possess. You are something to be worshipped. How do you get to this point of devotion? Well, first is the dissolving of that illusion of separation. It's the complete dissolving of the illusion of separation, that love could ever leave, that anyone else could be the gatekeeper of love. You are a means for me to experience God. You are the beauty of God, the fullness of God. The desire I have for you is simply the desire of God to experience itself. And I honor you with that devotion, right? Nothing less. Nothing less is acceptable, right? There is nothing less. There's nothing else that is acceptable. All right. Cool. All right. So what other questions y'all have? I did see one. How is a twin flame feminine? Can I stop running away from the masculine? How do y'all feel about twin flames and soulmates and all that? Right? We've done discussions on them, but I would love to get somebody's input. My input, my perspective is everybody is a soulmate, which I've said plenty times, right? Is none of us have a radar gun, but we can go around and we can measure if someone's a twin flame or a soulmate, right? We make the decision. I feel a stronger connection to you. But even that goes against the idea of oneness, that we are all one anyway. So how can two be closer than another two when we're all one? When there's just one, right? So even deciding that somebody else is a twin flame or soulmate is a choice. I could think you are my twin flame, and I can move on. I can find somebody else, and I say, oh no, this is a real twin flame. This is a quadruple. This is a triplet flame right here. I get to make the choice. I get to make the decision. And then as far as running away from the masculine, I mean, isn't that a story kind of rooted in that twin flame journey? When we start saying things like, oh, the twin flame journey has to be difficult, it has to be running away. Do you believe that your acceptance of that story as true has altered your perspective on the relationship that you're in at all? Of course it has. You believe that it's something that you're running from because you've read it somewhere, but that doesn't have to be your truth. You can simply decide to stop running. You can simply decide to accept the love that you desire. Okay? we get in our own way with stories, right? We start to say, well, this person's my twin flame, this is my soulmate, I can't have anybody else, it's causing this back and forth, this running, when you're just waiting on something outside of you to give you permission to experience the life and the love that you want. Here's the permission. Take the shit, right? You have permission now. You are healed, right? Just make the decision. Make the decision. You don't have to wait until a book tells you that, oh yeah, we lied. The twin flame journey doesn't need to be difficult. You can make the decision right now. You can make the decision that everybody's your twin flame, everybody's your soulmate. Nobody is. This one person is. Those two people are. It's all up to you. We are the only ones that are walking around narrating our life anyway. Right? Danny, what it do, brother? What it do? So that's my take on twin flames and soulmates. Is I have yet to meet, these days I've yet to meet a woman that I don't feel is my soulmate, to be honest. I mean, damn, like, who's not a soulmate at this point, right? It also, what is also this beautiful recognition, right, is the more that you kind of go down this journey, it does get to a point where it's like, if you like someone and they like you, at what point do you realize that you could make it work with it? You could really make it work with anyone. At what point do you realize that everybody's a reflection of you? That if you like somebody enough and they like you enough, you can make it work with anybody. At what level, or what point do you reach that level of recognition of self and your power and how you are seated in the center of reality? I think that's one of the goals. That's one of the things to get to, is that recognition that I sit in the center of reality. I get to choose. Who could you not make it work with? All right. We do get caught up in wanting to experience it through a specific person, right? Which, of course, you can. You have the freedom to choose whatever you want. But I think a very empowering realization is that everybody's me anyway. I always get to choose the path that I'm on. The triplets in here. Sierra, Lex, and Prince, the triplets. The law of assumption triplets. No, absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you for asking, right? I think when we, we're all in this journey together, right? So our ability to, kind of break things down, because y'all ask me questions, things that, I don't even really think to cover. I just kind of gloss over them. So when you actually ask me those questions, it helps a lot of people. So that's why I don't want y'all to be shy about asking questions. Whether you think it's a dumb question, whether you think it's an intelligent question, even if you're pushing back on me, right? I'll try to answer them, because that is how we grow together, right? You might even come up here and join and be able to present something in a way that I can't. That makes it click for someone else. This is the beauty of this space, right? Is that I'm not the pathway, okay? I am not the way, right? You are the way. So sure, I could spark something, but somebody else could spark something. I could spark something that makes you say, boy, this motherfucker is crazy. Let me go somewhere else. And you go somewhere else and it clicks. The path is the path. The purpose is for you to get the life that you desire. And so oftentimes when y'all come up here and you start talking and all of a sudden the chat starts bubbling up and everybody's, oh my God, that makes sense. That clicked. This is the beauty of sharing your perspectives, right? Sharing y'all's experiences. How do you remember that you already have, right? Don't think of it as a feeling. It's just a knowing, it's a recognition, it's a remembrance. Right? The same way that you remember your name, you don't have to feel good to know that your name is Alexander Dwayne, right? You just remember. You just realize there's no emotion. If I feel happy about it or sad about it doesn't take away that recognition. I just am, right? You being God is not a feeling. It's just a fact. It's just a fact, right? It's just something to remember as a fact. It's not a feeling. It's not. And here's another way of really kind of getting to this point, all right? We talked about the verse, right? Genesis 1:31. Okay, for God looked at what he created and it was good. And it was very good. What did that mean? So we broke down the very good. We went to the Hebrew. Because very good translates to what? Tav miad. All right. And so very good from a human perspective looks like, oh yeah, it's cool. But it wasn't just a compliment. What very good translates to is whole. In its fullness, divinely complete. All paths are already created within it. Meaning infinity is baked into infinity. That's why it's infinity. So simply, this is the spirit of source, which is all that there is, looking at its reflection and saying, this is good, this is good, this is perfect, this is the wholeness of me. And so now that infinity, what is built into it? Infinite paths back to infinity. So even now that you descend into quote unquote forgetfulness, so you can experience separation, right? Because one of the beauties of this human life is that because I am in the illusion of separation, I'm in this illusion of forgetfulness, now I get to experience the love I am through another divine goddess, right? So a woman walks into my life and I get to experience the love that I am through the illusion of separation. It's beautiful, right? I couldn't write a letter like this without that illusion, okay? So it's a very beautiful part of existence. So even my forgetting is holy. It's how God experiences itself. But so often we'll forget for a second and then we'll pop back into remembrance. So we'll say, shit, I just need to remember the whole time. If you truly merged into everything and you felt true oneness right now, your mind would crack and crumble under the weight of infinity. Your mind could not take it. This is why the fullness of source was placed, or not placed, but is experiencing reality through this human vessel to limit your perspective of all that there is to one. So you can experience all that you are one at a time, one perspective at a time. And that is exactly what I mean by everything I desire is within me. It means that infinity is already built. So everything, all paths are built within infinity, within God. But then within me, on a smaller level, all paths are built as well. There's a beautiful quote in scripture that says, in my Father's house are many mansions. Think of a mansion like a dimension. Mansion, dimension, right? It rhymes, it's cute. But think of a mansion like a dimension. So within you, because you are the Father's house, right? It's not talking about some kingdom out or some palace out there. It's saying that within you, you are the temple. Do you not know that you are the temple of the Most High, the temple of the Holy Spirit? So you are the temple of God. Within you are many mansions, infinite perspectives. A mansion is a dimension. How do you change dimensions? You change perspectives. So right now, if I'm saying, damn, I'm broke, I'm in a broke reality. But when I decide, no, I am prosperity, I immediately change dimensions because my perspective switches me to a reality of prosperity. Everything is within me, just waiting for me to claim it. So my decision, I am this, I am prosperity, I am abundance, I am wisdom, I am this, I am that. All of those are already within me. There's nothing to become. There's simply me needing to remember that they are within me. So all desires are within me. Now, how do you experience a desire? I want you to think about the last time that you had a desire, right? Let's think about a specific person that y'all might want. I know some of y'all are specific person crazy. I've been seeing the questions of SPs flying up and down the screen already. All right. So right now you're fiending for your SP. You can't even listen to anything anybody's saying because you're so focused on what if she did this? What do I do? Okay. So right now, right, you've got this specific person. Matter of fact, I kind of forgot where I was going. My bad, y'all. My bad. Maybe that's a sign right there. Maybe that is a sign right there. I don't usually do that, but maybe that's a sign for me not to talk about specific people today. Because I did make a decision before I got in here. I was like, I'm not finna talk about specific people. I'm not finna talk about specific people. And I divinely intervened on my own behalf. That's what I like to hear, La Luna. Open for a new person. That's what I like to hear. That's beautiful. Yeah. Devotion. But let me ask y'all this question about a person. Let's say that you do want this specific person, okay? Do you believe it's possible for you to meet someone that is better than them? Do you think it's possible right now for you to go out into your reality and meet someone who is better than them in every way? You're more attracted to them. They're kinder to you. They look at you different. They treat you better. They worship the ground you walk on. They're more spiritually connected. Do you believe that's possible? Are you open to actually receiving that, or are you extremely focused on that person? Not saying that one way is right or wrong. Just asking. Y'all are open to it? You just don't want it from anybody else to be. So you're not open to it. Yeah, I'm open to it, but so you're not fucking open to it. Okay. Hello, hello.
Oh, hello.
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm beautiful. I'm wonderful. I'm blessed.
Amazing. So I'm the girl from the Telegram chat who's SP. I'm sorry to bring up SP. Don't worry. This is gonna throw you off. But I'm the girl who's SP, like just turned up at her doorstep after like
Yeah.
6 months.
Hold up. Everybody listen. Everybody listen. If y'all have SP questions, y'all listen up now.
Honestly, guys, like, it was bad. Like, I manifested this guy into my life. I manifested the entire relationship and, like, the end of it. And, yeah, we had, like, no contact at all for 6 months. And I wasn't okay. Like, I was fiending. I was on Alex's lives, like, but what does it mean? Like, what is love? I've never felt love. But it's just kind of like a reminder that this journey isn't about your SP. And it's like the minute I kind of realized that, and yeah, I just like let it go, everything just kind of started crashing in. And now it's like a weird calm. Do you know what I mean? It's just like, yeah, I'm God. And now I've got a bit of like spiritual delusion where I'm just like, I can really take over the world. And my SP, yeah, like it's just a plus. Like there is just so much more now. It's like, but it's just like a benefit. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, token. Like a small thing that's showing you who you are, right? Just something to celebrate. Something to celebrate the love that you already know yourself to be.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And I always thought that he was like so much better. Like he was everything. He was so much better than me. And now I'm just like, I love the boy. He's perfect. Don't get me wrong. But now I'm like, oh wow, you're so lucky to have me.
Yeah.
Like you are so lucky. You don't even know what I'm capable of. But yeah, honest to God, guys, like you can sit and watch these lives. Like I love watching the lives. Please don't get me wrong, but it is fundamentally just coming back to yourself and just remembering who you are. And the quicker you get that realization, which everyone has it, we all know it's there, like don't fight against it. You could sit there until you're blue in the face, like, what is God? How do I know that I'm source? Just like, it really doesn't matter. And the amount of times that I was like having absolute shit fits, sorry to swear.
Yeah, go ahead.
But yeah, absolute meltdowns and just like none of this is working, like this is ridiculous. But I always came back, like every single time, always came back. Even if I didn't feel like it, I would just say like, I am love. I am source. And yeah, it's wild. It's so wild.
It's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. I love hearing that story, right? So someone did ask, they said, how did you get there? Which you have explained. You just did, but would you mind going into a little bit more depth for anybody?
So, how did I get there? Well, I kind of like started off with the whole like law of attraction, like I need to be in the right vibration and frequency. And I remember coming into one of your lives and saying like, frequency is an energy in motion. And you were like, you cannot tell me that. Like, you just read me to absolutely filth. You were like, you don't have a thermometer that you shove up your ass. And I was like, don't threaten me with a good time. So, but yeah, like fundamentally, everything that you say, it's all the same. Do you know what I mean? Like law of attraction, law of assumption, whatever. It's all fundamentally the same. Just with like, I don't know, added extras, but you've just kind of like ripped all that away and gone to the core of it, which is just a remembrance.
Yes, ma'am.
And when I kind of like stopped feeding into that and just realized that I'm just like listening to all the same stuff, coming to like the same opinion. And I remember you just like on one of your lives just being like, when are you guys finally going to get it? Like, just stop watching these videos. Like, it's always the same thing. And yeah, it is. And I was tired. I was so tired. And I was just like, you know what? Just do it. Like 3 days. Let's just pretend. Like every time like a terrible thought comes into your head, it really doesn't mean anything. And just replace it with a nicer thought. If you can't replace it with a nicer thought, replace it with a slightly better thought. You know, just little steps.
Mm-hmm.
Does that answer the question?
It does. I don't think I want to hear if y'all have any more questions though. I want to see if anybody. But that's absolutely beautiful, right? It's that divine recognition that yes, I've been looking at all this content. Yes, I'm trying to make this work, but it always just comes down to the remembrance that I'm already it. I'm already God. I'm already all that there is. Even the question of how do I feel more like God? That is the illusion in itself. How could God feel more like God? Right? How could I feel more worthy when I'm already utterly worthy? That is still me getting trapped into the illusion. Those thoughts aren't wrong. They're part of our human condition. But we can simply remind ourselves through it. No, I just am it. No, I just am it. Right? It's just accepting it over and over and over and over and over and over and over until it's just your natural state of being. It just is what it is.
Yeah. Don't even like second guess it. Just it really. And this is the thing. It is that simple, and we create this blockage in our minds. No, it can't be that. It really is that simple. Like it's so that simple, and I just want everyone to know that you will get it. Mm-hmm. You're just gonna have like this light bulb moment, and it's all just gonna come in. It's all okay. It really is okay. Mm-hmm. But it's never about your SPs. Stop putting them on a pedestal because
they're musty. They're musty as hell. They're musty as hell. Don't put them on the pedestal. You got this.
Sorry, someone asked where I'm from, and I'm from Hampshire, but I'm living in Edinburgh. Fun. But yeah, thank you so much. Thank you.
I appreciate you. I appreciate you jumping on so much. Thank you so much, man.
It's fine. This will be the last time I bring it up though, but seriously, when are you going to hang out painting? Because it's getting a bit much now.
Whenever y'all manifest it. Whenever I have the urge to do it.
I've aligned. It's already in my reality, so it's gorgeous.
I must be in a different reality.
What is it?
Oh, it's an elephant. It's an elephant.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. My dad, he really loves elephants. He has so many elephants. I'll definitely eat the chips for you, Neith. But my dad, he has elephants all over the place. And so I saw this. I was gonna give it to him, but he didn't have any room for it, so I just kept it. And I like it. So it was hanging in my old spot. I had it hanging, but now I just kind of keep it there. It's more so of a remembrance when I'm on the when I'm on the lives and I see it. Just a little remembrance for me, just a token.
It's cute. Can we start like sending you in like fan art?
No. Yeah. I'll take it. I'll hang those up.
Okay, great. Okay, get yourself a PO box and we can send you stuff.
All right, that's a deal.
Well, thank you, and yeah, good luck, everyone. It's not your SP. It's not your SP. It is all about you.
Absolutely. It's always about you. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Alex. How are you?
I'm great. How you doing, Luna?
I'm fine. Thank you so much. I just want to. I'm always the same. When you hear and I hear SB, I get like, no, 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 not again. It's like it's putting you down. It makes your energy goes down and it's heavy and you get new things. You can just think of the SPs was nice, all the nice things on them, all what they had did to you, and have a collection for your future, for a new person.
Maybe. You don't have to though.
Yes,
You don't have
of
to.
course.
You don't have to. You can have whatever you want. I get what you're saying though, but you can have whatever you want.
I mean, it is the one coach in Germany. He's very famous. He say this guys, your SP, is your ass. You say asshole to somebody if you don't like. Asshole angel. He brings you with pain
Oh
to
what?
yourself.
It's
Yeah.
a what did you call that?
Sorry. It brings you with pain. To your exes. Many girls says, "Oh, he was an asshole. He was this. He was that." But they are a present for you, a gift for you.
Okay.
He brings you with your pain to your divine.
Yeah, I see. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's just bringing you because you didn't come to that place, so you have the present. Now you have the time to come to yourself. He means you, and you is he. You
Absolutely.
are already together with him. So I don't know. So,
Absolutely. No, I absolutely agree. And that's the case with everything, right? Whether we talk about that specific person, we talk about money, it's always the recognition that love cannot leave me because I am the wellspring of love. Money cannot leave me because I am the source of prosperity. So it's never about those things. It's about that remembrance or recognition that you are already it. Right? I completely agree. But the one thing about the specific people is that we put them on this pedestal, or we think that they're out there somewhere and there's something to journey to. That's where the problem is.
yeah, the thing is, I just started to thinking since yesterday night not to put everything what I want on the stage, higher than you are. Just put it like normal, drinking coffee. Don't even if you think of that. Don't see you happy, screaming. Don't. It's like okay, this is so normal to get my coffee, my cup of coffee. Normal to get 1 million. Normal to get a beautiful woman or beautiful man, whatever you want, So just in this way, not to just wow, I want to. It is exaggerating. Is not the way you are already have it, So just feel it's okay. What I'm gonna do afterwards, what I say, which friends do I have, whatever,
Yeah.
But one thing I want to ask you something.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever I listen to you, really, I thank you so much. I really touched this guy. I really feel myself in heaven when I listen to you. You talk with your heart. That's what I feel. This makes me so happy, and I believe on myself then in that moment very strongly. But when I don't listen to you or not having anything with touch with these things, I lose a little bit energy. When I listen to you again, or somebody who says the same again, you are divine, whatever, then then I know this is true, then I feel so strong, then I say to myself, I can do everything, How can I put it more, not depends on anybody, Is there any way how you did it?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I was going to say, you tell me. But here's the thing, though, is that you're always going to fluctuate between these highs, the highs and the normal parts of life, and then the lower parts of life. That's just part of the human experience. But to judge that because I feel a certain way, because I have a dopamine hit after I heard somebody speak, versus I just woke up and I had a bad night of sleep, so I feel a certain way. To judge one of those as holier than the other, right? That is where the issue is. The issue is not the feeling. It's the judgment of the feeling. You're always remembered.
Yeah.
You've always remembered. You already know that you're the divine, right? So it's not about doing these practices to pump up your dopamine so you constantly are walking around in this heightened state of enlightenment. What is enlightenment? Except for the release of resistance. The only thing that I see when you say something like that is that you believe that if you feel a certain way, you are on the path more. But that's not the case. Part of the human experience, part of God remembering yourself through the human experience is that you are gonna have moments where you don't remember. And those are just as holy, if not more holy, because you're actually experiencing yourself as God wanted. These are just as holy as the moments that you just remember that you are completely dissolved into unity with everything. Exactly. There we go. You don't have to practice being what you are. You just have to remember. It's taking you can't be more God or less God.
Of course.
You can't. So you just are it. So it's that recognition that whether I believe it a lot, believe it a little bit, I just am it. I just am it.
One thing you say, thank you very much. But one thing you say, it touched me a lot. You say, your soul is God. So he wants something. Okay, everything is going to get you that anyway. You got it already. So your soul, what you are carrying on yourself, is goodness. Is goodness, you say?
Percent. Yeah.
Yes, and this made me so wow. Yeah.
Yeah, because even goodness, right? When we translate goodness, because even in scripture, goodness is translated to whole, harmonious, complete, divine order, all of those beautiful things. So it's beyond just good, right? It's perfect, whole, harmonious in the eyes of God, right? God looked at creation and it was very good. Meaning God looked at creation and it was harmonious, whole, perfect, and complete just as it is. So this is what you already are. It's beyond your soul is God. It's that there is no part of you that isn't God. It's that every part of you is God, right? It's not, you're not a piece of God. There's not a piece of God within you. You are the wholeness of God, and every part of you is filled with the fullness of God, right? And how I'll explain it is when you look out, you see the wholeness of God. But also remember, the wholeness of God is in the tree, but not just in the tree. The wholeness of God is in the leaf. The wholeness of God is in the branch. The wholeness of God is in you. Not just you. The wholeness of God is in your eyeball. The wholeness of God is in every single cell. So you can think of God as this fractal, right? Where everything and everywhere all at once. Everything and everywhere all at once. There is no separation. Separation is an illusion, right? Each atom is the universe. It's beyond our human comprehension. But that's as far as we could understand it, is that the fullness of God is in the tiniest speck. The tiniest speck, right? So this is how divine you are, is that we walk around thinking that we could possibly be further or closer to God, and that's impossible. You are the fullness of God. There's nowhere to go. There's nowhere to fall from. You can't escape it. You are consumed by God, and we're still walking around begging and hoping and searching for God when we are swimming in the substance of God. We are drowning in the substance of God. So it's never about feeling better or thinking more. It's simply about that instant recognition. Oh, I am God. It's all me. It's all God. It's all perfect. Even the forgetting was perfect. And now the path becomes about grace as well. How do I continuously give myself grace on this path, remembering that I have been perfect the whole time? Even my forgetting was part of one of infinite paths leading back to the infinite. Because if it's all done and it's all good, well, God still had to create paths of you forgetting to get you back. So what isn't right? The only thing that quote unquote isn't right is our judgment of something as not right. This is why people are like, oh my God, it's so simple. It's just a remembrance. Absolutely. When you realize that it's all God and every path is perfect and every path is God, then what is wrong? The only thing that's wrong is our perception of it. When we start to accept everything is holy, it's all perfect, it's all divine, it's all remembrance, it's all God. There's nothing outside of God. No path outside of God. No way to escape God. Did I go mute? My bad.
If somebody is a Muslim here, then he will know in the Quran says God is closer than your arteries.
Yeah, the jugular.
And the vein, yeah, closer than your vein. So what does it mean? So it's like you're asking a fish, what is water for you? It's everything. So you are, everything is it. So thank you so much. And I always say, either one, I mean, you have to decide to be your queen or your king in your life.
Yeah.
And let things working for you and not you working for their wishes.
100%.
Let everything work for your wish.
Absolutely. My bad.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate you.
I so appreciate listening to you. I'm in Germany and I'm not having so much sleep when I listen to you in the night time.
I've been ruined. I know.
But it's so beautiful.
I appreciate
it's really good. It's really good time for me just to have it in all my cell, all my being to listen to you. That's great. Thank you very much. I really appreciate you, my brother. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Goddess. I appreciate you as always, man. Thank you. I love that too. I love that too. Love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. All right, who's next? Who's the next tribute? Who will be volunteered as the tribute next? I love when y'all tell me your success stories. Cause I had just mentioned the other day, I was like, yeah, they were giving advice in the Telegram chat, and they were just like, oh, by the way, my SP just showed up on my doorstep. So, oh, is that right? Do we need to give you some privacy now? But it was pretty cool. It's pretty cool to see those things happen, right? No contact for X amount of time. I think it was 6 months. And then they just show up on your doorstep. Come on, y'all. What is possible? Is the topic SP? No, the topic is never SP. But y'all will drag me there. So it can be whatever you want. If you got a SP question, go ahead and throw it out, though. Yeah, SP is a specific person. Happy Sunday. How you doing?
You know, this live that you're doing this morning for us out here on the West Coast was so timely with what just happened. I was just listening to everything that everybody was talking about and how the SB came to your door and you know how they like to slip into your DMs and all that kind of stuff, right? Well, this one guy in the past 3 days slipped into my DM, and it was magic.
Okay. Hi. Keep it PG. Keep it PG now.
But it was on such an elevated score.
Yeah.
That the communication was like fine wine. You know, it was like, God, what's happening here?
Yeah.
Now, 2 phone calls after that for 2 hours. He calls and checking on me, blah, blah. And, you know, you're working too much. You need to rest, you know, one of those things. And I want you to lay down. Shut everything down. Just go lay down. And I'm like, I got things I'm doing. I'm mixing a video right here, and I got some content, so I can't lay down right now.
Yeah.
And I felt this dominating spirit in him of you do what I say.
Okay.
And that didn't sit well with me. It just put all this other stuff right in the toilet.
Mm-hmm.
It was on a level that my heart didn't want to hear and felt disappointed. And so I let him know. And he came back with, and then I blocked him after that. I just didn't want to take that energy in. And I sat there saying, God, what's the game going on right now? Am I playing with myself in this? Am I not listening on the level I should be listening on, and forgive him for... But the bottom line is,
Yeah.
he wrote me a letter that came out of the Song of Solomon.
Yeah.
Conversation. And asking me to meet him in a forgiveness mode. And that he didn't want to be that person. And and to give him the same grace that God gives me. Whew. And I said, okay.
Okay.
Which way are we going now, Lord? To left or right? Are we going straight ahead, or what do you got?
Okay. All right.
So I got that this morning. And then talk about how this is, perfect timing.
Mm-hmm.
It spoke right into what I'm talking about. And I was addressing the issue in my heart.
Right.
So here we sit, and I'm listening to everything everybody's saying, and the bobbing and weaving with love and all that beauty. And I jumped off your live for a minute, and I answered it, and I said, I would like to tell you my thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
And they all came up based on what you were just sharing. The love letters, the whole thing. If you could see the scribble on my book, I don't even know if I could read what I wrote. But it was things that I caught from your conversation.
Okay.
So, I don't really know if what I'm accepting here, other than sharing an answer to his call.
I got you. So, what, okay, let me ask you a question.
Okay, do I have to block myself? Mute myself here.
Yeah, she don't mind.
Yeah.
All right, so my question is this. All right, oftentimes we can forget that we walk around within the mind of God, where everything exists. All possibilities exist within consciousness, within awareness, right? So what do we not expect to see is the first part. But based on that, right, kind of going forward based on that, right, sometimes we'll get so caught up in trying to figure out, is this right? Is this wrong? How did I create this? What does this mean? Instead of just using this as an opportunity to give clarity, to receive clarity, all right? Someone walked in my life. The energy was electric, right? It was divine, right? The conversation flowed. It was sweet like wine, right? However poetic way you put that, okay? So you have this situation that unfolds, and then you get also this moment of contrast where you notice something that you don't want, but even in that contrast, you get clarity on what you do want. I doubt you're tied to this specific person, but I know that you're tied to the energy that he brought in the beginning. And is that moment, right? Is that something that you want to decide that he's no longer that? Or do you want to look for this more perfect package in another? Either way is fine. But really, this is just an opportunity for you to choose. So often we put our power outside of us and we say, what is this sign? What is it trying to show me? Well, the truth is, it's trying to show you whatever you accept the message to be. So could this simply be an opportunity for you to choose what you want, choose how you move forward? Because now you're in this magnetic place, right? There are infinite people, infinite different. When I say infinite, I mean infinite, right? We say that there's 8 billion people in this world. Within 8 billion people are infinite different versions of each. So there are infinite, I don't stutter when I say this, there are infinite people that would be transformed by the love that you are. Infinite. And you get to choose who you want to experience that love through, how you want to experience that love, what you will tolerate. You have free will to do all of those things. So are you simply looking for messages and lessons within this? Or are you sitting in your power and realizing that the message is whatever I want it to be, and now I get to choose moving forward with him, with someone else, with whoever?
Well, he woke me up by surprise in an area of my being that was new to me.
Yeah.
And in that newness, I'm in the music world, I found one. It was a synergy there from our life experiences that we understood each other and how we were looking at love, what we can't tolerate, betrayal, all those, kind of things. And in answer to your question, my first knee-jerk reaction is he's not what I normally gravitate to.
Okay.
And, he came out of a very long marriage of betrayal, and he's beginning again after years. So I've got someone who's very tender within themselves.
Hold up now though. So right now you're still using kind of the past to justify who he is, right? And I understand that, right? And all of that is fine, but it does not have to be the defining points of your story. And I get that you're trying to explain it, but I do want to make sure that you understand that is that those things that happened in their past life, in your past life, those are simply stories. You get to still accept who this person is, or what you want to accept, or what you want to receive moving forward. It's still going to be up to you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I get that. It's almost like, sort of sizing him up to see, what, where he's really at, because I don't want to find myself in a trick bag on some level. It's because I've been isolating and I've been walking in the wilderness with God in such a way that when that magic came up, it was like, is God waking me up right now? Or because I'm hearing him, but I'm not leaning in too far.
Of course. Of course it's God waking you up. Of course it is. What else would it be? But go ahead.
Well, I'm recognizing that something's happening.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And am I rising to it? I'm in the midst of it. And I'm just checking myself on how I feel. Because I started digging what I was feeling in myself.
Yeah.
So I don't want to add my old stories or his old stories. All I'm saying is that he's awakening for himself to finally being open to looking for love.
Yeah.
So he came after me with it.
Yeah. He knew a diamond when he saw one, right?
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, just my queen just started to sparkle a little bit. I was like, okay, I'll show up.
Yeah.
So I just jumped off to write him and say I'm willing to share my thoughts. And he wasn't there to pick up, which is interesting.
No, that's just no. You don't.
It's like, okay.
Why is that? Why is that interesting?
Right here.
I hear you.
It's the letter that he wrote was like he with bated breath. He couldn't wait for some correspondence from me. So how come you're not picking up the phone?
Look, y'all both.
He waiting down. I can't forget what I was gonna say. It'll come out different.
All right. I see both of y'all. Both of y'all got a little control to you.
I'm a chorus. I can't help myself. I write it down real quick in my head and I see what my steps might be.
Okay. If you say so. If you say so.
Well, it's true. It's I'm bullheaded on levels, but it's because I believe so. and show me where something else that I might need to know.
No, I feel you.
Right? So I don't know. I'm just standing in the ether of it all right now, listening to the things that you're imparting to us, and God is a timely God. You know how He creeps up on you in those sudden moments of, okay, God, I get it. I feel it. I'm breathing you. I'm loving you. I'm feeling the whole thing. So that's kind of where I am on this Sunday afternoon at 1:30 in Las Vegas.
Love it. I would tell you though. So I love everything that you said, except for the constant kind of moving outside of yourself and judging the situation. And I get that you're just trying to give the example, but still, the
I
way
hear
that,
that.
the way
I
that
hear
we
that.
yeah the way that we tell our story is important. So you stand in the middle of reality, at the center of God, and you get to decide how you're going to be received, how you're going to be embraced, how you're going to be, opened up to. And this is the way that I see it. I see this as a divine moment where you are confronted with the reality of who you are, where all of a sudden the sparks flew and this man just came into your life and they lit you up in all these divine ways as simply a reflection of the divinity that you are, the goddess that you are, right? So now it's not there is no lack when it comes to this situation. You say you've been doing this work and walking with God. What you've really been doing is remembering your divinity. And now your divinity is constantly just being reflected back at you. And so now all of a sudden you have this divine mirror showing up in your life. This isn't the only mirror. Reality in itself is your mirror. But it's giving you a little bit more choice. It allows you to clarify what you want. Right? So I see all these things that I want. I see what I don't want, but that just gives me the opportunity to choose what I do want. So I would say continue to sit in the middle of reality since you felt drawn to it, right? Continue to go down that path, but be open. Like allow God to show out. Allow source and spirit to show out in your life, and don't see anything as missing out, because you can't miss out because you walk with all that there is.
I receive all of that. There is something that concerns me in the delivery
Okay.
of his wanting. He wants it now, he wants it fast, he wants me to get on his team, go here, go there, go be with me, you don't have to work, you don't have to. And I'm like, slow down, oh my God.
Yeah.
It was like way too much in my face, where the nuances of finding and experiencing that newness was like, just hurry up and get here. I'm already here kind of thing. And I just kind of felt the taking control that was uncomfortable for me about his offering. It's really what I'm going.
So I hear you, but it seems like you're just fighting with that part, right? So it's this back and forth. Yeah, the beginning was nice. I like that part. Now I'm wrestling back and forth with this. If you don't like it, you don't like it. If you want to choose a different version of them, you can. If you want to accept that this is how men are going to be, and they're going to come with this electric energy, and there's infinite others out there that will show up and won't be controlling and will take it slow.
Yeah.
Because really, it's still the same thing that I'm saying, is that you're just getting clarity on what you like. You loved at the beginning. It was enticing, right? That's what you like. That's what you wanted. It was reflecting your divinity. And now all of a sudden you're seeing this part that you don't like, and it's just giving you clarity on what you do want. So you have a choice. If this is someone that you want to choose a different version of, you can do that. If you want to tell the story of him the way that you want, you can do that. But you also don't have to be tied to anyone. You can decide that someone better is going to show up that's going to be that and more. So this of course woke up. This is how I look at it, right? Because I'm not the person I don't get tied to specific people per se. So in a situation like this, how I would look at it is this. I've been doing this walk, and I've been enjoying the divinity, and I've been remembering who I am. And now these things show up in my life when I'm remembering, that allow me to celebrate myself. When I know myself as prosperity, I am the prosperity without, my bad. When I know myself as prosperity, I am prosperity without anything showing up. But things do show up so I can celebrate the prosperity that I am. When I know myself as love, I don't need things to show up. But these things show up so I can celebrate the love that I am. It might be women that adore me. It might be situations, whatever the case may be. And so now, as those things show up, guess what? I get to continuously look at those things, because now it's waking up a part of you. You might not have had extreme clarity on what you did want. But now that this man showed up, He has opened your mind to what is possible. He's not the gatekeeper of this behavior. He's not the only one that'll show up like that. There's infinite men. There's no lack in the kingdom. There's no lack in the mind of God. So infinite men will show up like this. Better looking, less attractive, more attractive, more. They'll all show up. And they'll all also show up if you have more clarity now on, okay, I want that. Plus I want somebody who's going to take it slow. Maybe you did have clarity on that before. Maybe now you're just having a little bit more clarity on, oh, no. I thought that I could jump in and just wanted that. But now I have more clarity on wanting to take it slow, wanting to get to know somebody on this intimate level beforehand and kind of ease our way down the road. Now you have clarity on that. So this was simply a divine moment, opportunity set up from God. If anything, what I would say is this, and somebody's probably going to cry in the chat when I say this. What I would say is this. If you stepped out and were like, hey, I want to talk to this person now, and you had this urge, and you're wondering what that means, that he didn't respond, me personally, I would simply take it as I can choose whatever I want. I get to choose whatever I want. I don't have to wait for anyone. I don't have to choose a different version of anybody. I get to choose ultimately what I want, point blank, period.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it popped my collar a little bit when it came around the bend. I liked it. It reminded me of, what I love about myself.
Facts. That was a gem right there. I hope y'all heard that. It reminded you of what you loved about yourself.
Yeah.
That is absolutely beautiful.
Thank you.
When you're the center of it. Yeah.
I know my specialness, and that's my muse. Whenever I have to do anything creative, I just sit comfortably and feel the love in me and feel the vibration of which direction I'm being led in. And then all of a sudden a piece of art comes up, or I make a beautiful piece of jewelry, or I'll write a song, and I'm loving what's coming back to me. I healed myself from a relationship about a year ago of not feeling good enough, or I knew I was worthy, but not feeling good enough for him.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden I started writing songs through AI that I think could be number one hits.
Mm-hmm.
For people who are going through, because I put my soul in the lyric, I put the rhythm in the orchestration, I put the vibe and what the message was to come across. And then when it started to play, I was like, did I just write that somehow just by the mere key points? And it started to heal me, so I continued to do that. And that's how I started to teach myself about AI and how important it really is in today's world. But it's the love that was within me, sort of like a boomerang back into myself by doing that kind of exercise. And it strengthened me. It made me feel stronger. I fell more in love with myself, with the ooh factor. I want to do more. I want to know more of this feeling now. So that's kind of, I know that I need someone who has a creative heart that can understand me going in and out of all these different portals of thought. Because that's just who I am. And that's what I give to people that I work with. That's what people pay me for. And then when I have to use the same tools for myself, it's an interesting journey. I'm sure you feel that too. People are drawn to you by way of your experiences.
Mm-hmm.
And especially by the way you write, you take them on a magic carpet ride of wherever they're going in a way that they can't not listen because it's a tag along.
Mm-hmm.
You can't not tag on to where you take them. It's just your gift. And that's why people, glom on you.
Mm-hmm.
But the beauty of it is that, you're the one it's coming through. And what does it do for you first as it comes through? What do you feel? What do you do with that other than, okay, you wrote it down, but where does it take you? Deeper, higher, expansion,
Yeah.
Because you hit a lot of sides. And I see the way you listen to people. You give them the grace. Even when they're counteracting or not really hearing you, you still give them the grace to come and get that little nugget.
Yep.
and you try hard. Well, not hard, but you're patient. And I respect you for what you do, because it takes a lot to have that. Because sometimes you just want to say, "Can you get it? Get on already."
Shake somebody. God damn, bro. Come on.
It's like enough. I'm tired. And so, but I just wanted to, because I believe in this in life, giving accolades to those that edify your life, so that you know that it's working and it's landing. And a lot of people come on here and talk about grief and being hurt, and to me, I can relate. But to me, grief really is love not having a place to land. It doesn't know where to land. So you got to let it land back in you. You got to take those things from other people that you love, those qualities, and become them.
100%. Beautifully said. Beautifully said. Oof.
Yeah, so I hear your heart, Alex. I would prefer to call you Alexander.
Cool.
Because it has a certain melody to it.
Yeah, it does.
That I see you and I recognize you and I respect you. And for what you do and what you rise to, because you do it all day long, morning, noon, and night. Your passion is something that's exhibited in a way that it extracts it from others for themselves. How about that?
Oh, I appreciate you so much. I received that. Thank you so much. Right? Sometimes, yeah, I appreciate every word, right? Because it is a path of constantly, giving yourself and putting yourself out there, and even the writing, right, which I'm sure that you can relate to, is that even sharing a lot of the writings is a vulnerable moment, right? It's sharing this piece of you, this part of you that you channeled within the silence of your own room. And there's several emotions that you go through while even writing these things, right? Because most of y'all know, right, I've lost a woman that was very close to me. And so even a lot of these love letters, right, it's not the they come off as very loving, but there still is this aspect of grief in them, right? This longing in them. And like you said, the grief is simply looking for a place to land. And so how do you turn or transmute that energy into love? Well, you do that by allowing it to expand you, allowing yourself to feel it, right? Allowing it to sharpen you, allowing yourself to remember that you are love, giving to others, right? Being patient, showing people the empathy that they deserve. So I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Thank you.
Yeah, no, I see. You see, when you were speaking, as you were speaking, I heard the word symphony. Because the way that you bring all the parts together is orchestrated through your wisdom and life experience. And I can relate to you in reference to having someone that you love so deeply go to heaven.
Mm-hmm.
And that love, the one that I had, if I never love again, I've been loved, and I know who I am in love and what a beautiful woman I am.
Yeah.
Because of that love, I discovered myself so deeply in that love that it's almost like I do want to have a partner in my life as the time, shows up. But right now, these are defining moments, you're right, of what it is that I want. And that love was the nucleus to all the extensions of what's showing up now. So, yeah, we can make choices. And yeah, that love that we feel in our hearts for them, they are part of us. They're locked in our heart. Mm-hmm. And they'll always walk through, and you'll feel them. You'll feel that warmth. And they want the best for you. They want you to have that gorgeous love that you had together. Take it even higher, babe. Take it even higher.
Mm-hmm.
Go. And she's with you. And whoever's going to love you is going to love her too. she's a part of who you are. And they can't be jealous for that love that you have in your heart. That's grace right there.
Yeah.
So, so stay as open. And yeah, you got all these women glowing on you, they love you. Because no one speaks into them like you are talking. You're elevating them as to what they're learning they want. Because they hear it. They're listening for it. So stay on, my brother. I just love you. I adore what you do. I'm thankful what you pour into my life. And in this crazy world, to be having moments like this in community, and I find this through TikTok too. And get ready, you're gonna start seeing a little bit more of the woman of jazz out there. I got some stuff getting ready to roll.
Can't wait.
And if you have to go check out my page because I'm putting some great shit up in there.
Can't wait. Can't wait.
Yeah, so, and lastly, because I make jewelry and I told you I want to make you some jewelry, would you please let me know where I can send it? And let me know what your favorite colors are, what your vibe is, because I get a tribal kind of thing with you. And I got some stuff already made that I think would knock you out.
I appreciate you so much.
Yeah, it would touch my heart that you would even wear it.
Oh, yeah. Thank you.
All right.
You're making me feel very emotional right now. I appreciate you. I'll send you a message right after this.
Yeah,
but I appreciate you
take
so
that
much.
emotionalism and draw from it.
Yep.
Love it up. Like you're supposed to feel what you're feeling right now for a reason too. Mm-hmm. So I'm glad I showed up for that.
Thank you so much. Thank you so
God
much.
bless you, my brother. Continue on, and I'm always watching and listening.
God bless you, Goddess. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Later.
How do I get off of here now? Do you do it or do I?
Oh, I got you.
Okay.
All right. All right, give me like 5 seconds, y'all. Give me like 5 seconds. I appreciate y'all tremendously. Couldn't express it more. Couldn't find the words to express how much I appreciate all of y'all, right? When I tell y'all that we're all on this journey together, it's not lip service. I truly mean it. Y'all see a part of me. Y'all see a side of me. It's very intimate, right? And I treat y'all, and I treat y'all with reverence. I see y'all through the eyes of devotion. All of this that I'm talking about, right? It's not lip service. When y'all come up here, I see y'all through the eyes of devotion. I see nothing but God within all of you. You deserve everything. Y'all help me just as much as I help y'all. Okay, there's things that we've all kind of struggled through. And we reach into life and we try to find this purpose, this sense of meaning, this way to justify some of the things that we have went through or experienced. And seeing y'all one after the other kind of get your life changed, right? Experience the love that you want, the money that you want, this prosperity, and all of these things. These things, I absolutely love them. And I give y'all a lot of shit about the specific people because I don't want you to put them on pedestals. But I swear every time that I see love and I see y'all dissolve into the arms of your specific person, you give me these beautiful stories about these people, I could not feel better for y'all. Because I understand the journey. And I understand what it's like to lose someone that's close to you. I truly do. I truly do. And I understand what it's like to long for someone and feel like you can't have them, right? I understand. So, I love y'all. I absolutely love y'all. All right, next. Oh, no next. I guess it went away. All right, well, I got 11%. What else y'all want to talk about? What did he just message you? Yeah, the elephants are fire. The elephants are fire. What's up, Annalise? How you doing? The most important thing that I have now is the peace and the knowing that I'm perfect and loved no matter what. No matter what. Said go eat. Oh man. Oh, that was funny. How do you let go of things that feel heavy, that I feel I should just accept because I quote unquote deserve it? How do you let go of things that feel heavy, that you feel you should just accept because you deserve it? I'm assuming that you mean things that you perceive as negative that happen to you that you think you deserve. First thing that I would ask you is, why would you ever think that? Why would you ever sit around and believe that you deserve something that you don't want to happen to you to happen to you? You don't. You are God. You are the absolute chooser, picker of your experience. You don't have to accept any of that. You get to decide who you are. You don't have to simply tolerate things happening to you and say, oh, I just deserve that. What does that even mean? What does that even mean? We are so fooled by the world into thinking that morality, what a man says is right and wrong, is the code that we should live our life by, when it's not. That's just one perspective of that person who wrote it. But the truth is that you deserve the world. You deserve to be treated like God because you are God. You deserve to be treated like God because you are God. You should tolerate nothing less. And when you realize that is your phrase, it's not even that you have to try to be God. You being God is just a fact. When you realize that, you're not going to sit around and just tolerate whatever. You're going to be able to look at life through that eye of love and devotion. Look at yourself through the eyes of love and devotion. Knowing that expecting the best for you is expecting the best for God. It's honoring God. Seeing yourself as the source of love is honoring God within you as the source of love. Why? Like saying, oh, I accept bad things. It's like saying, well, it's condemning God. It is condemning God. All right? So you don't ask what someone is reflecting you decided. You can ask if you want. But I mean, it doesn't, you can ask, you can have those conversations, right? You can have the human experience. All I'm saying is that you're the ultimate decider on how anybody shows up in your life anyway. So have that talk, right? Sit there and talk to them and let somebody say, oh yeah, I'm just a terrible texter. I don't text fast with anybody. And you say, okay. But you get to decide how they're going to show up. You get to sprinkle them with the holy water and say, oh no, you're healed. You're going to show up this way because this is how people show up in my life. This is how I expect them to show up. Or you can move on. You can do whatever. But you get to make the choice on how people show up. And then can I talk about grief when I decide I want different, but I'm grieving from what once was? I can absolutely talk about grief. I can talk about grief all day. The best advice that I can give, right, when I talk about grief is grace. Grace. All of us are having a human experience, and we're all doing it together. We are all on this human journey together. Okay? So I want you to really think about the times where we lose people or things. Even if you decide to leave a job that you're at, there's a version of you that sees yourself at that job for longer. And now going to a new job, right? Even though you desire this new job, there's a version of you that's uncertain about it. This was safe. This was comfortable. Even though I didn't like it, it was predictable. I had a routine. I knew what it was. But now I want more. How do you balance that? Now let's translate to people. Right? Whether somebody calls you right or wrong for wanting this, you could be in that position with people in a relationship. You like this person is comfortable. They've been doing you right, but you want something better. How do you move through this? The first thing we'll want, right, is, especially if it's with people, right, we'll want something on the outside of us to validate that we're doing the right thing. What often happens, though, is that we'll judge ourselves. And the people outside of us, since they're just mirrors, will simply become the reflections or the vessels to point that judgment back at us. So we think that other people are judging us. It's just us judging ourselves through them. And so what's the most important part of this? It's forgiveness of self. It's me accepting that I have the ability to choose. I have to do what's best for me. And some people might argue, no, that's selfish. Don't do that. I get it. That they have a right to believe that. They have a right to see that. They have a right to have that perspective. Absolutely. But you also have a right to have your perspective. And so you need to honor yourself through these decisions. You're going to have these things in life. New job, new opportunity, business deal. 2 people want your business. Which one will you go to? You've been working with somebody for so long. Now you have a better opportunity. This relationship just isn't doing it for you. Of course, there's going to be a natural mourning process with things that are familiar. But are you going to honor yourself enough to give yourself grace through that process? And okay, this is the decision I'm going to make, and I'm going to live with it, and I'm going to forgive myself, and I'm going to accept that this is what I want to do, and I'm going to move forward with it. Or are you going to simply judge yourself through everybody around you? Constantly seeking somebody outside of you to say, you know what, you're right. And anybody who doesn't, all of a sudden, you pretend that you're the victim. They just don't understand that. But really, it's you. Really, it's you projecting an insecurity, and they're just giving you, they're just replaying what you're saying in the depths of your soul. It's always on us, right? So take it moment by moment, forgive yourself, give yourself grace, and realize that you have the decision to choose because you sit in the center of your reality. You can also still choose to see something better or best for that person or situation that you're leaving. I'm not looking to burn the place down. I wish them nothing but the best. I still see them through the eyes of devotion, but I also honor the God within me that desires to experience more of itself. Diva, Ray, I appreciate you so much. So God is hurting God. God is exploring contrast within all that there is. God is all that there is. Guys, when we think of the situation like that, we're thinking of it from a very human perspective. When we say things like God is hurting God, well, God is loving God as well. But where do you draw the line on what God is? Right? Where do you draw the line on what God is? God is all that there is. There's nothing outside of God. And if God is all that there is, what do you expect not to happen? You have the freedom of choice to choose however you want to experience things, right? Because I'll say, okay, so let's break it down like this. I am God, you're God. Have you never hurt anyone else? Intentionally or not? Most of us are bad guys in somebody's story, intentionally or not. What do we call that? Is that not God hurting God? Is that not God exploring the contrast within itself? You sit there and you talk to this beautiful woman that you love, or ladies, you talk to this beautiful man that you absolutely adore, and y'all hurt each other. Y'all say things that get under each other's skin. Is that not God hurting God? We just do it from a place of forgetfulness. But when I see it through the eyes of oneness, right, it's just me and this other version of God, this other perspective of God, simply exploring the contrast within all that there is. So even an argument is different when I take away the illusion of separation. This is just me taking one perspective of all that there is, and you taking one perspective of all that there is, and we're simply exploring the boundaries of all that there is together. But when we see it through the illusion of separation, me versus you, instead of just perspective against perspective, but I still adore you because you are just me. Right? This is when we get too trapped in the illusion, we end up hurting each other, whether it's intentional or not. Right? So yes, God is hurting God, absolutely. We just want to outpicture everything and outsource everything and think of God in the sky and say God is good. Then I will say, well, where do you draw the line on good? What is good? What is bad? What is right? What is wrong? And how come it shifts between person and person? You could tell me, well, there's certain things that just should be evil. And I would say, well, that's still just your perspective. That's still just your perspective. Well, there's certain things that absolutely should be right and wrong. That's still your perspective. Who are you to judge what's absolutely right and wrong? Humanity hasn't gotten that right on the same page in the history of humanity. So who are we to judge right and wrong? It's all God. When we start saying, oh, no, good versus evil, we start treating God like Star Wars, the Jedi versus the Sith, the dark side, right? And we start, okay, so who draws the line? Well, God does. No, he doesn't. Because we will sit here and we will translate through a human perspective. No, this is right, this is wrong. Government, this is right, this is wrong. Separation of church and state, but we still pledge allegiance to a flag and thank God for it and all these things. So God's not writing laws. We're the ones that are saying this is right, this is wrong. When it's all God. But when we see things as separate, as out there, God out there, now you have thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of different ways throughout the world that people honor God, and they have different right and wrong. Some people believe in blood sacrifice, some don't. Some believe in killing people, some don't. Some believe in this, some believe in that. Which one is right and wrong? You go to one specific religion, they think everything else is obnoxious. That is ridiculous to believe that. You go to another religious sect and they think what they're believing is absolute truth, but what you're believing is absolute ridiculous. Who's right? Who's wrong? So we constantly limit God. We try to confine God within our human logic when God can't exist there. The human consciousness is not vast enough to hold God. You're much more than the human consciousness. The human consciousness just allows you to have an individualized, separate perspective of reality so you can experience life. That's it. But it's not ultimate truth. Ultimate truth is simply I am. God is all that there is. It's aware it is right, wrong, good, or bad. We're with our lower minds. We're the ones down here trying to judge that so we can have a functioning society. I missed a lot of comments, I'm sure. You can't manifest a specific person because it messes with their free will. That's the assumption that there's only one reality, right? But there's infinite realities. So yes, manifesting a specific person would be an extreme violation of free will if there was only one reality. If there was only one reality, no, we couldn't do that. We couldn't do that. That'd be impossible. Because now it's my will versus your will. I'm sitting here trying to control your mind. Hey, fall in love with me. Fall in love with me, motherfucker. Come on, goddammit, fall in love with me. Right? You can't do that. You can't impede on someone else's free will. But fortunately, in my reality, no one else has it. In their reality, they do. But I'll never encounter them in their reality. Right? So the whole concept of free will and lack of free will, right? It's funny because this is man. So even when we and I don't get into talking about other realities too much because I feel like it could be confusing. And I remember going back and forth with somebody. I remember talking to somebody. We spent I kept saying like this is not important. It's just you only have to worry about your reality. And we talked for a long time just about trying to understand the concept of different realities. So I'm going to say this quickly, and I'm going to completely change the subject. Let me see how much battery I have left. Oh, 3%. Let me plug it in. I'm not going to let myself die on y'all today like I did yesterday. I'm not going to do that to y'all today. I wonder if I could just change phones. Let me see. Let's see if I can just change phones. Nope, I can't. I love the way that if I just like take my time, y'all just let me take my time. I appreciate y'all. All right, so all right, so let's talk. I'm just taking my sweet time. My bad, y'all. So let's talk about this. So, all right, think of your reality like this. Okay, in my Father's house are many mansions. So let's reference that verse. So the Father's house is you. You are the temple of the Most High. So think of you as this skyscraper. Okay, you're a skyscraper and you stretch all the way to infinity up and down. And there's infinite different rooms. Okay, let's say each room is a floor. And right now you are on level 1. Okay, so you are on level 1 right now. And now let's say that you say, I want a happy relationship. I am the person who deserves a happy relationship. I only get happy relationships. You start believing that. Now you go to the floor where you only receive happy relationships. Let's say it's floor 20. On floor 20, everybody that's in your reality, they're on a different floor as well. Okay? They're all on a different floor. And so you go to level 20 and you meet the version of SP number 1, specific person 1, and they are loving of you. And then you start looking at them and you say, you're kind of acting like my ex and she cheated. You start seeing her, you're like, man, you might be sneaky. You are sneaky. And so you move to ladder 50, where this person, another version of them, is on floor 50 and they're sneaky as hell. Okay? You're experiencing different versions of that person. That person is shifting with the elevator. You're the same. Because all versions of you exist in this skyscraper. This is your reality skyscraper. And everybody that you experience has their own floor. They're not shifting, you are. Okay? Now, in their skyscraper somewhere else, you're not shifting. Versions of you are throughout all floors. And they're the ones shifting. Here's the thing. You'll never be in their skyscraper. It does you no good to worry about them. Because the girl I was talking to, she was like, well, I don't like that. That means in another reality, he could be with somebody else. And I want him with me in all realities. I said, God damn it. Woman. That's what it does you no good to even know about all realities. All you have to know is that right now, you get to decide who you have in this reality. That's it. I was like, God damn, girl. It's not good enough for you to just have him here. I mean, no, because now I might be laying up with him and I'm thinking about him in another reality with somebody else. Excuse me? You're thinking about what? So they're in their own reality doing whatever with different versions of you. Okay? Or not with you. But you are in your own reality. So all that matters for you to understand is that nobody in your reality has free will, or else you couldn't choose different versions of them. That's it. That's all that matters. Okay? If they had their own free will, it would be impossible to manifest specific people. And y'all see people manifest with specific people every damn day. Every damn day, a specific person is showing up randomly out the blue. Right? Popping in their DM, sending them a long email, even though they were blocked on 3 social media accounts, showing up on their front lawn. Right? They're meeting them in the airport, you're seeing all of these interesting cases where that could not happen if everyone had free will. It would be literally impossible. Okay? Oh man. Oh, oh man. Yeah, who is your specific person with? They might be with your best friend in another reality. Doesn't that piss you off? Don't you want to go talk to them right now? You know what? It's not enough for me to have you in this reality. Who you with in them other realities? Matter of fact, let's go do a dream reading today. Let's go talk to the tarot card lady. You know what I'm saying? Let's see what you really doing across the multiverse. I want to see you across the galaxies. I better be the only one you choose across all lifetimes. Hello, hello.
Hi.
How you doing
Hi,
today?
everybody. Hey, hi. I'm new here. I seen your page a few times and you was talking some good stuff. So I'm like, let me stop by and see what's going on. I appreciate the vibes in here. All the ladies are amazing. Your energy seems authentic.
I appreciate
so,
you.
yeah.
I love that you're here. Thank you.
Yeah, I kind of had a question. Like I said, I'm new. I don't know much about you, but I heard that you lost somebody. So my condolences. I'm not sure how long ago that was, but
I appreciate you. It was several years ago. I appreciate it.
oh,
Thank
okay,
you.
okay, yeah. It's still a process. I understand. But you were talking about how we can attract somebody. We can bring in a different version of somebody. I kind of was going through what Woman of Jazz was talking about, but I decided to go separate ways with the person, even though we only talked for a day. I knew in that day, I'm like,
Yeah.
it's not going to work for me.
Yeah.
I feel like I need somebody on my level spiritually.
Yeah.
And I've settled a lot for people that, basically I've settled for my reflections. They're worn out. I'm tired of the karmic loops. I'm tired of getting on that cycle, thinking less of myself. I'm ready to face the world tits out. Like, I don't want to speak like that out here, but you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just ready to go for what I want and see those reflections in me. I feel like I've mastered that within my friendships. When it comes to relationships, I don't believe men. I have a really difficult relationship when it comes to me and the masculine and the physical.
Why?
I feel like it's been disappointment,
Okay.
and I've seen the thread between like myself being disappointed in myself, not going after the things like my inner masculine being wounded and things like that. So I've been working on that. Told myself I'm gonna give myself a little bit of time from the dating scene, but I'm fighting myself because I feel like my person should be able to match me wherever I am. So what am I waiting on? But at the
Exactly.
same time, I know I got some stuff to work on, so it's like I don't know.
I mean, you hit the nail on the head. I was kind of going to lead you down that path, but you got there already. So when will you decide that you're actually ready for a relationship? Let's say that you're going down this healing path and you got things to work on. Do you think that you're going to get to a point where you're ever truly perfect by a human standard?
I think it's I start judging myself based off of the people I attract. So I'm like, somebody talks to me at the gas station, I'm like, I'm a crackhead. I must be, because I keep attracting crackheads. Like, and I don't want to keep measuring myself up to that.
But you don't have to, right? So you're not, okay. I want you to think about it like this. So let's say that right now you're attracting a whole bunch of men because you are an attractive woman. All right? That's what it is. You're just going to attract a whole bunch of people. Now, let's say that in the past you were in this state where you expected that the men that came up to you were going to waste your time or they weren't up to a certain par. Okay, cool. They're going to show up to you. Even good men are going to show up and turn into certain men because you expect that. Now, let's say now you start deciding, no, I am the source of love. I am the wellspring of love. I am love, right? So you decide that. Does that mean that everybody else just fades into oblivion and and those people no longer show up to you? No, it just means that you unlock a new level now. And so now you get more options to choose from. That's what it means.
Right.
But
what if you want to be done choosing?
then you can decide that as well. All right, so let's get right into it. Okay, do you believe that you are God? Do you believe God is within you? It doesn't have to be you are God. Do you believe that God is with you?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, cool.
So without, for sure.
Perfect. All right. So if you believe that you are God, and that means that all things already exist within you. Right? So if all realities, if all versions of you already exist within you, then there's nothing to work towards. There's no healing that you need to do. You just need to decide that you are the person that attracts a certain type of relationship. That's it.
Okay, so say you attract that person, and say it's like somebody like you know, like what Woman and Jazz was saying. We looking at you like you're speaking from the heart, handsome guy, you know, it's poppy and shit. Why do you want that?
Appreciate it.
Okay, say we attract somebody like you. How do we keep ourselves up? You know, and that's, you know, and not compare or say like my man might be on live, you know, and all the women on there like, yeah, hell yeah, Alex. I'm like, what the hell? Like, how do I maintain myself and be that woman for that reflection?
Is that you remember that you're the source of your reality. You are love, so love can't leave you. It just goes back to putting yourself on the pedestal and taking anybody else off of it. Sure, you might have this man that you love, right? And you absolutely adore him, but he's also absolutely lucky to be in your life. He's lucky. He worships the ground that you walk on because he sees you as God. So it's not about keeping yourself up per se. You're going to naturally do that. Here's the key. When you're doing that as a means to get something, that's doing it from lack. When you know who you are, and now you're simply doing that because that's something that you want to do to continue to look good and continue to, you know, keep yourself sharp. Now that right there is where that's the sweet spot. Anytime that we're doing something out of forgetfulness, right? I don't remember that I'm the source. I don't remember that I'm God. I don't remember that I am the center of my reality. I'm doing things to try to become it. That's when I'm doing it from lack. That's even the same as this journey, right? How many people, and this is the affirmation that we're saying. Everything in our life is an affirmation. So right now, if I decide, okay, I want this good relationship. If I work long enough, then I will become this person and I can get this relationship. That in itself is what? It's me affirming I am not the person that can keep a relationship. I'm not right now that person. And one day in the mysterious future, I will be, but the future doesn't exist. Even me saying I have to upkeep myself. I have to do these things to be the person that has this person, keeps this person. Is me saying I am not that. I'm not it. So it's not about doing more. It's about remembering more. Do whatever, but do it from that remembrance. Do it from that place of power that you already are at.
Heard. Okay. Received, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
That was a lot. Okay. So as far as the confidence, so is it a matter of you feel like just reassuring yourself and repeating that truth to yourself, like that I am God, and like reminding yourself, because there's been so much fighting throughout, you know, my mom, my dad, society, school, whatever else, the whole shebang, you know. How do I start to really feel that on a soul level?
Okay. Do you think, all right, do you believe that feeling it more is going to make you more God? Because that's really the question that you're asking.
So that's kind of what you were talking about at the beginning. You feel like there's a distance.
Exactly. That distance is just the illusion, right? There's nothing that you could do to get closer to God. There's nothing that you could do to get further away. There's nothing that you could say or feel to get closer or get pushed further. The only distance is that we believe that there's a difference. We create that illusion. We will sit here and we will say, well, you know, I want to feel closer to God. I want to feel more like God. And I would say, well, that's the human experience, is that God chose to experience the illusion of separation so it could experience itself. You would not even be able to experience a divine love, a divine partner, if you were not in the illusion of separation. So even the forgetting is perfect. It's coming to the deeper truth, right? Because we'll come into the spiritual space and then we say, all right, yeah, I'm God. I get it. but I don't feel it. How do I really remember? It's the deeper truth is that you being God is just a fact.
Yeah.
It's not a
It's like
feeling.
once you remember, it is.
Yes.
It just is.
It just is, right? So it's nothing to fight to. You cannot escape God. You can't escape. There's nothing is outside of God. Even the path of forgetting is still within the mind of God. It is still God. It all is just built in. So one of the things that I used to do is I used to just play with this concept. Okay, I am God. And I would sit there and let's say I didn't feel like it. Sometimes you can relax into it. Sometimes you can't. All right. When I couldn't, it was decided I'm still perfectly God. When my mind was wandering and was saying that, why don't you see this? I said, no, but I still am God. That also becomes a teaching moment because now you might have things that say, well, if I'm God, I should feel better. That is a condition. Anytime I catch myself saying, if I am God, then, if then, anytime we have an if then statement, that is putting conditions on the unconditional. I just am God. I'm God with or without the feeling. I'm God with or without the thing. The paradox is when I truly accept that, when I truly decide that, right? And I actually make this a fact of my life, like my name. I don't have to feel good to be Alexander. I just am. Right? It doesn't matter if I'm sad, happy, excited. It doesn't matter. I just am it. Being God is more your birthright than your name. You're much more your God than your name. Your name is just a label. Right? So it's accepting it on the deep level. And how do you do that? It's not by force. It's simply by flowing with it. It's about when those things that imply that you have to work or feel a certain way to be it more show up, you remind yourself gently of the truth. No, I just am it no matter what. And so that just becomes your being. It's something that whether you're angry or sad or happy or frustrated or yelling or getting cut off in traffic, it's just you.
Yeah, like a smoky mirror. That's what I'm seeing in my head.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. Absolutely. Exactly. You don't, and the metaphor that I always use is you don't fight off, like if you go outside to get to the light, you don't fight off the dark to get to the sunlight, right? You just open your eyes.
You can't be punching smoke.
Exactly. The light's been there the whole time, right? You don't fight off lack. You don't fight off quote unquote forget. You just remember. That's it. Oh, I just am it.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Those are the only questions? You got some more?
Yes, I think so, because I'm not quite sure what all you talk about on your channel. I get into like other stuff, like I'm into like necromancy and things like that. So I'm not quite sure if you talk about those type of topics.
No, I know. I talk about I am awareness. I know about those things, but so I'll always talk about things from a way or a perspective that there's nothing outside of me that can take away my power. So even when I talk about things like necromancy, if I talk about answers, if I talk about chakras, if I talk about, archons, if we talk about any of those things, it's going to be from the perspective of, yes, I can go into understanding them philosophically and I can look at them metaphysically and what they mean metaphorically, or I can say, oh yeah, this is part of my physical reality. Cool, sure. But anything that disempowers me, that makes, that does not have me in the center of power is an illusion, right? 5 aliens, 18 feet tall can show up in the room. They will have no power to do anything unless I accepted it, right? I could be in fear, but I am a sovereign being. I am a God tier being. I am God. There's nothing can get in the way of that. So that's the way that I give information.
Okay, yeah, I feel like I'm starting to see it that way, and I feel like I was naturally gifted with, certain things. And now that I've reached a certain point in my journey, it's like things that I identify with, like, we go through like the Orishas or whatever, figure out certain things, give things titles so that we can just understand them, and then we drop them, kind of like Legos. So I'm getting to a point where I'm dropping a lot of things that I associated with my identity, with my purpose, with my gifts. It's like, damn, like, I don't even want to be on social media. I don't even want to be witness. I just want to kind of fall apart and like emerge anew.
Yeah, I feel you. I 100% feel you, right? I based my identity on a lot of things all the time and was realizing why I always felt disempowered. Like, dang, I'm always attaching my identity to something else, or the ancestors and this and that. And, but all of that just seemed to keep me limited. It was always this layer in between me and God. Instead of me just waking up to the truth, all of those things were tools, but they weren't the source. I have always been the source.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel like a part of this whole journey, now that we're talking, it's like I'm having an aha moment. And it's like I went on this journey in an effort to kind of see who I was.
Yeah.
And now that I know, I don't need these things to kind of, I'm not trying to help. I understand that my essence is a help. Like when I walk into the room, just me being there, me speaking, me talking, me being present is going to help. Now these things sound good. I'm talking about them in conversation, but practicing them over and over, I think is, or just reminding myself that remembrance, like you said, it's easy to forget. That's what it is. It's really easy to forget.
Yeah, it is. It is easy to forget for sure. But even the forgetting is perfect, right? That's the even greater realization. So yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
You come on this journey to know thyself. And in the process of knowing thyself, you learn a lot of things. And then you continue to kind of carve off the illusion. It's like peeling off layers of an onion. I'm sorry, you're not really an onion, or you're a candy. So it's like peeling these different layers of sweetness off of yourself. So you just get to the core truth that you are already everything that you desire to be, and remembering that.
Right. Yeah, like the dude I was talking to, he was, like Woman of Jazz said, he was just doing a little too much, and I realized this was me. You know, I'm a Scorpio, so I'm water, I'm all feelings, lover girl, all that energy, and when he gave it back to me, I had a dose of my own medicine. I love when spirit does, like when we do that, I love when we do that.
Yeah.
Because I can see myself clearly, and it shows me that, girl, you gotta calm down. Like, this man is not your husband on the first day. Like, having those things, like, you know, thrown back in my face really gave me clarity, like you said, to know what it is I want. It gave me the confidence and the reassurance to relax within myself.
Yeah.
Because that is not me. That is not my true self. And that's not that person's true self, and I know that.
Exactly.
But if they're not going to give me back that, you know, understanding, I'm not going to sit here and fight, you know. So.
Exactly. No, you hit it. You hit it right there. You hit it right on the head. When's your birthday?
November 18th.
Shoot, happy early birthday, man. Happy early birthday.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm a Scorpio too. I was October 23rd though. It was the very beginning.
Hey, shout out to the Scorpios.
Yeah, for sure. Shout out to this. It's a lot of them on this. It's like a Scorpio gang on this motherfucker.
I think we just attract our kind because we always dying. Can't nobody just, every 2 weeks is a whole other person sitting in front of you.
Facts.
I appreciate this though. I'm not really sure how to hop off of here.
I got you.
But I'll be present in the chat.
Absolutely. I appreciate you. Thank you for coming up.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you.
Appreciate y'all. Next up, next tribute. What's up?
What's good?
How you doing, brother?
I'm doing well. I'm tuning in from Kenya. It's 1:35 a.m. in the morning.
Beautiful, my brother. Beautiful.
And I just landed on your page and I had to follow because I really mess with what you're talking about right now.
I appreciate that, bro. Appreciate it.
I've found myself in these loops. All of my most intimate relationships have been with Scorpios. In fact, my baby's mother is a Scorpio right now.
Right now? What you mean right now?
She is a Scorpio.
I got you.
Not right now, but she's a Scorpio. That's what I mean.
I got you.
And at a certain point in my previous relationship with my previous Scorpio, I got into this place of having to deal with myself, having to deal with the tendency of being as bad as a narcissist because I was just people pleaser. And I found myself in this position where I thought that I was working in things to build on self. Everything I was doing was just for self, in the sense of I wasn't really doing it for validation. But then comes this beautiful Scorpio in my life, finds me in this energy that's very radiating. I'm a Libra, so I chat a lot. My mind, my conversations can be all over and very intellectual, and that it's something that I know attracts a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
majorly Scorpios. I'm just speaking the truth, bro.
I got you,
And
bro.
so I found myself in 2023 after breaking up with my previous Scorpio. I was in this nice wave. I moved cities. I was feeling myself, yeah. Then I met this beautiful girl. Scorpio's beautiful. Beautiful women. Beautiful people. I've never met a Scorpio who looks. My son is a Scorpio right now. Beautiful people. Physically. Let me just say that. I mean, you're an attractive person, and I'm not even afraid to say it, and I'm not even gay or anything, but it's just something that is out there.
My
So
brother.
in my Libra nature, I am more tuned to things that are beautiful. I like to be around beautiful things that are well balanced, you know, the symmetry and all that.
Yeah.
And I found myself, because I really validated this one aspect of this person, I ended up shortchanging myself. Because I met this person who I didn't face the reality of the fact that she wasn't coming in to match my energy. Her energy was completely different at the time when I was just, guarding myself. I was maintaining my sexual purity. She was out there just, as long as you don't know, I'm not going to tell you, kind of Scorpio shit. So she was messing around, and then I got to find out because I'm that kind of a straightforward individual. And then that went, she put it aside because I was in that energy of, it's either you're doing this or you just fuck off. So excuse my French.
You good?
But then she got her act together. But then, regardless of the fact that she, we got serious and all that, I kind of felt like I was shortchanging myself in the sense that she wasn't really bringing anything. My life was stable. She wasn't really getting a job or really bothering anybody getting a job. She was just a pillow princess and all that kind of stuff. Which I was okay because I was getting her. I wasn't really having so much expectations on her.
Yeah.
But you see, the problem with that kind of situation is that you always shortchange yourself and end up incurring energetic debt.
Yes.
So I ended up incurring energetic debt, which led to physical debt.
Yeah.
So over the years, since 2023, I ended up coming from a situation where my energy was up and all that. I was able to maintain my kind of lifestyle to not being able even to pay my house rent. Because I'm just living with this person and I'm here working with potential, but I'm sort of validating this person on one aspect, but it's not really meeting. I'm living in this illusion of potential, facing the reality of the situation.
Yeah.
But then again, it's sort of like I'm forcing this person now to meet me or match me with the energy or the transformations that I'm going on or that are taking place in my life, or to just match my energy, because at the end of the day, we need to live in reality. But then not seeing her for what she is and where she is in her part, that's the grace that I didn't really accord her. So the energetic debt led to, us having a baby first time. It didn't, I depleted ovum, that baby went, and I sort of ignored myself, ignored my intuition, to take that as a sign, as to this is not supposed to be there. Mm-hmm. Second time happened, we got our son, beautiful boy, but then the reality now starts to hit, because the energetic exchange is not matching, it's not anything that is in reciprocity. So I ended up now, overcharging myself in the physical and overcharging myself energetically, where now I'm ending up in debt, which I don't really have to incur.
But okay.
Ending up telling
so hold up, brother.
Let's match up. Yeah.
Hold up, my brother. So I kind of get where this is going, but I wanted to stop you for a couple reasons. Number one is that there is this huge identification with external things, right? You're calling everything like whatever it is out there is what it is. And you're speaking this story as if everyone outside of you, the people that you're encountering, this woman, is the absolute truth about him, about them, about her. All right. And so even kind of going before that, you already had these defined definitions of this is how a Scorpio is. This is what I attract. This is who I am. All of those things are fine when they serve you. But when they become things that hold you back, you're using your power against you. So before we even go further, I got to ask you, right? Do you believe that you are the creator of your reality?
I do.
Okay.
I'm here because of me.
All right. Yeah. So you are here because of you. But do you think that life can show you something opposite than your perspective?
I'm thinking about that. That's a bit of a deep question. Life can show me something that's opposite to what again? Come again with that?
So your perspective, your acceptance of what is the truth, whether we're talking about women, this is how they show up. Your woman, this is how she shows up. Your or Scorpios, this is how they show up. Do you think that life can show you the opposite of your expectation or your perspective?
Of course.
Okay, it can. All right. So in the situation that you are in, right? Because I'm going to challenge you now. With your identification of this is how Scorpios are, with your identification of this is how this woman is, has she proven you different? Or has she just proven what you believe about her?
First of all, it's not like I go out asking or looking to find a Scorpio.
No.
I just end up finding myself in those situations. But to answer to answer that, I've not really had expectations, but then my pattern recognitions prove to what my intuition and the reality of the places where I've been.
Yeah, that's fair.
Holds.
But that's fair. But that is expectation. So whether I call it intuition, which is just pattern recognition, intuition is pattern recognition before you recognize it as pattern. Even in pattern recognition, even with intuition, I still have the choice to decide, is this going to be the truth for me or not? So what I'm really leading you down the path of is whether you call it intuition or pattern recognition or the aspects of a Scorpio or just how she turned out. Whatever you want to call it, underlying, it's all forming this assumption of who she is. And so even scripture says, whatsoever you believe, you will receive. Right? Neville Goddard, whatsoever you accept is true, right? When whatever assumption that you have of reality must be proven. Why I'm saying this is that there is nothing that is keeping you trapped in this situation. This situation can change overnight. But you have to realize that you have the power, because right now it's like you're sitting in the center of reality, but you're giving everything outside of you your power. Right? You're saying, oh, well, women are like this. She is like this. This is what I've seen. This is what my intuition says. This is how it's unfolding. When you can, instead of telling the story of what goes on out there, because this is how people get trapped in the same time loop. They continuously base their identity on what they see out there. Well, I have been experiencing this, so this is who I am. I'm the type of person that experiences this. I'm the type of person that does this. And they wonder why things don't change. Because they're constantly telling that same story. But when you just... What's up?
I kind of feel like me believing something could be different is what's led me even to be here 3 years down the line. Because I've wanted to see something different. I wanted to believe in or bank on the potential.
It's not
I
about...
didn't want to believe.
It's not about potential, though. It's not about potential or wanting, right? You can want and you can hope for potential, but that doesn't change anything. It's about who you are, right? It's not about you hoping that reality changes. So this is going to kind of be a longer conversation, because I'm seeing where you are right now, and we got to get you all the way to a deeper part, right? So let's just break down reality creation in general, right? Is that right now you are God, as within, so without. You right now are seated in the center of reality. And so right now, the fullness of God is within you. You're walking through reality. You're walking through life, and you're making assumptions on things. You say, oh, these women ain't shit. And life says yes. You're unconditionally supported in getting what you want. When you say these women treat me like a god, they try to treat me like a divine king. Now, all of a sudden, reality flips, and it says yes. You're unconditionally supported in what you decide that you are, not in what you wish. not in what you hope for. What you hope and wish for doesn't matter, right? Because source just reflects unconditionally identity. So even if you hope and wish for someone to change, but the story that you're telling, the assumption that you have of yourself and of reality is that, well, I'm this type of guy, I'm this, Libra, and this is the type of women that I attract, and they show up like this. Like, even down to her being the pillow princess, right? Those are all assumptions. Now, you could say, well, no, it's been proven to me in reality. And I would say it's only been proven that way because you constantly accepted that that was the story. Instead of going to the center of reality and saying, okay, like, this is where you get your power back, is when you stop basing reality on what you see and you start deciding who you are. This is how I'm treated. This is how women show up for me. This is how you show up for me. Mm-hmm.
So, my current situation is this, yeah. I ended up telling myself and her that, because we're expecting our second baby, yeah, and we're not together. She started telling me the points of she doesn't see us aligned, and of course, I didn't want to argue about it. And also, I've been showing up in different ways, always being there, catering to parts that probably she can't cater for. But then I realized that now that we're not in physical proximity, she's trying to keep me in that energetic loop of wanting to invite me into parts of her life, while I've been trying to invite her into parts of the life that we've shared all along, and her neglecting and showing me and even telling me as well as to how much she doesn't want to be a part of it. So I had to stop myself even within the tracks and tell her that I really need a little bit more than that, because this is not what I want.
But my brother, you're going through physical reality trying to change it, and you can't do that.
Yeah.
People those.
So
Go ahead.
exactly. So what I just said, I think it's best we just give it space, because this is not the kind of treatment that I've been giving you. This is not even how I see myself. Mm-hmm. And I don't want to show up like this even to anything anymore. And yeah, being a hardliner like that, when I just say no, this is not it, because it affects even how I've shown up for myself initially before I met her, and even how I've shown up to the world. I just ended up saying, okay, this is not me. It's changing even my essence. It's changing my being. It's even affecting everything that is coming, that I've known to exist within me and outside me as well. So I just had to put a stop to it and tell her, you know what? I'm sorry, because I was functioning off of ego with you, trying to put you in a position, in a place, or in a timeline that is not you.
But okay.
Because I just wanted to validate that part of you and make you match with me.
So I hear you, but it still sounds like you're trying to manipulate reality, right? I hear you, the whole, oh yeah, because we have to leave, and because I felt like I was trying to but even that to me seems like the last kind of desperate attempt to get her to change. It still constantly feels like you're playing tug of war with reality. Instead of deciding who you are, you're continuously going out there and trying to manipulate it somehow. Okay, well, I see the potential. All right, well, I have these conversations. Well, I hope and wish. Well, now I have to push her away, and I say, well, I thought that it was going to be this, and I didn't want to put you in this. It all just sounds like an attempt to get this person to change when you can't change them. You simply choose a different version of them by changing your assumptions about how they show up, by seeing them the way that you want them to be. But you have the hope for them, but you still have decided who you are. You still have decided who you are. You've decided that this is how I'm treated. Women show up to me like this, and she is like this. But hopefully, if I talk to her, then she will change. When reality doesn't run off of hope, it runs off of identity. Mm-hmm. Right? So the next step is you can do whatever. But this is the question that you have to ask. Whatever I'm doing, am I doing it in an attempt to change her? Because if she showed up different, then that would validate me. That's going to be the wrong way to do it. That's going to always be the wrong, and it sounds counterproductive. But that's the wrong way to do it. You don't want to go down that path. The path you want to go down is remembering that, okay, I sit at the center of reality. Now, what do I decide? Okay, I decide that this is how women treat me. I decide that this is how she is going to show up. I decide that this is how you love me. This is how you treat me. This is how you kiss me. This is how you lay with me. This is how you do everything with me. This is how I see you now. And so now from that point of power, I've decided now I go back into physical reality and I allow reality to be what it is, knowing that it will unfold to who I am. Because reality is just me. So when I decide who I am, it unfolds to who I am. Right? And this is how people start changing instantly in front of you. It's when I'm making this desperate plea, and it doesn't sound like desperation, but you know as well as I know what you're really trying to do by saying, hey, I don't want to deal with you anymore and we should go our separate ways, and it was ego and I was trying to change you, is that you're really hoping, right? You're still hoping to get a different version of her because that would make you happy, which is, there's no problem with that. But going through physical reality, that doesn't work. It might work for a little bit, but they're always going to revert back.
So basically, I just ignore everything that's happened and I just start seeing or living in a different way?
Unless, yes, absolutely. Unless you want that reality to continue going. You start living in a different way. You start identifying as a different person unless you just have a choice, right? You can either move to a new reality, which is dependent on your assumption of who you are, or you get to focus on what you don't want. It's not that you're going to lose anything. Give yourself permission. This is, and here's the thing. Don't think about it as bypassing, ignoring. Think about it like this. You've decided right now that she shows up for you in this beautiful, divine way. Can you make that decision? Okay, I choose to see her as perfect and divine, knowing that she always goes out of her way, knowing that she always shows up, knowing that she wants to do all these things to contribute. Can I see her through the eyes of devotion? I see you as God. And if I see you as God, that means there are infinite versions within you. That means I give you the space to show up as God. Now, from that point of power, I go and I treat her with devotion. I let whatever is be what it is. And I just go with the flow of whatever the situation is, knowing that it must unfold perfectly. Now, if I get caught up in the illusion of, oh, she's acting like this, I just remind myself, no, it's unfolding perfectly. This isn't the end. And then I handle this situation however I want to handle it best. But I don't handle it from a position of trying to manipulate her or change her. You can't do that from physical reality. You're just going to make her hate you, not want to be there, take advantage of you more by trying to force anyone to change, right?
Because if it really means accepting it and knowing where I stand, then it means that perhaps we wouldn't be in each other's lives.
But that's not what I'm saying. You can, okay, if you don't want to be in each other's lives, cool. But that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is choose to see them the way that you want them to be. Decide this is how you are treated. Decide this is how you are treated. And now from that perspective, allow whatever it is to be what it is. If that means that you're not together in the meantime, cool. But they must conform to meet you, to meet your expectation and assumption of who they are. So that's what I mean, right? If the meantime it means whatever happened, it is what it is, that is what it is. Allow reality to do whatever, allow reality to be what it is, to unfold to who you are. However,
and that goes back to the part where it's just standing in the truth of what it is and not wanting to fold into accepting parts of myself that I do not want to see, because her even projecting that or even just me seeing that is just parts of myself which I don't want to see.
Say that one more time.
And I just have to say, is this me or is this something that I'm sort of entertaining because it brings some pacification for the moment or validation for the moment or more of a distraction? You feel me?
I might be missing you. We might be talking past each other.
What I mean is, I'm not separate from her.
No.
Whatever she's portraying, I've experienced it in a different lifetime. I've been that in a different lifetime. And a different lifetime can mean it with a different person.
Well, don't even think about it in a different lifetime. she can't portray anything that you are not conscious of being right now. So exactly. Okay.
It exists within me,
Yes.
some part of it. So, because this is some part of me that, yes, in as much as I've experienced it, I haven't integrated it to the full acceptance of, okay, this is the part of me which I have seen. I do not validate it. But because it's a part of me that sort of pacifies me or keeps me in this place of, maybe I've been used to it.
Well,
I might keep it around.
But
this is not.
But I don't want you to think about those things like that, right? Because even the things that you consider your identity are just thoughts. They're just choices. They're not hardened facts of reality. So you might say, "Oh, this part of me is something that I don't want to accept," right? But that's not what I'm saying. It's not about accepting it. It's about deciding who you are. It's about standing in your seat of power and realizing that even me saying it's that I have a part of me that I don't want to accept is just a perspective. But I can choose the perspective of me being divinely whole and perfect. I can choose a completely different perspective of me. And it's the truth because I say so. It's not about this denying a part of you, or it's about deciding who you are. Yes, whatever she saw within you or sees within you, that was the truth. But not anymore. That's an old version of you. It doesn't live here anymore. You get to stand right now in this moment and decide whoever you're going to be. And so that perfection will now be reflected from this point moving forward.
And that kind of looks like in any moment that I'm a version of myself within her or within anything outside myself, or even just within myself, that I say, this is not what I'm choosing.
Mm-hmm.
I can choose just to walk the other way. It's like when you're walking and then you're going somewhere and then maybe you realize that I'm not going the right direction. For the most part, a lot of people will take out their phones and maybe fake that they're looking at the direction, or just look at the stalls, or maybe you just stop mistakenly in front of someone's stall and then they want to call you in and you end up going in and you didn't really want to go in. You just wanted to turn back and go in the other direction. So it's about just choosing in that immediate moment that I want to just turn back and go in this direction because this is not where I want to go. And if you decide to come in this direction, I'm standing on business. If you decide to come in this direction, you will come.
Yeah, but
if not, okay. I'm not trying to buy anything over here.
Exactly.
I didn't stop here to buy anything. I don't need to take my phone and act like I'm being busy. I can just do a U-turn and go back.
Yeah, exactly. You get to just simply decide who you are. Absolutely. You don't have to fake and play games. You don't have to play. Exactly. You have the power, basically.
Absolutely.
You have the power. 100%.
100%. Comes back full circle. I feel like I'm speaking to my son. My son is a Scorpio. He's gonna be, 18 in 18 years.
Yeah. Yeah. Your son is a sage, man. Well, he's a mystic. I feel you.
He is, and I'm trying to be there for him right now, despite the fact that my baby mom's is pretty much overwhelmed, and I understand her. She's pregnant and all hormonal and telling me all kinds of hurtful stuff, but I'm trying to just stand in the peace and not determine that, or not let that determine even the relationship that I want to have with her. So I just have to be there, and I'm choosing to be there because it's not just about me and what I feel in the moment. It's more of, I've loved you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let me say something. I thought you got it, but then you just told me this story and it feels like you didn't.
Tell me again.
So what do you mean you just have to accept her showing up in whatever way and being hormonal and...
No, I mean her, because at the end of the day, we have kids right now. We have children. And despite the fact that if she chooses now to be a certain way...
What do you mean if she chooses?
Rather her choosing to be a certain way.
You choose, though. You're choosing. That's the point, is that you get to choose how she is showing up. You choose how she is going to be showing up and looking at you and opening up to you. No matter what reality is showing, you get to stand in power and decide.
Okay, let me give you a scenario so that we can figure it out, okay?
Okay, let's do it.
This evening, right now I'm in Nairobi. Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
She is, let's say, 7 hours away from Nairobi. And I texted her this evening. I just arrived, spent time with my brother, and I told her I'll call her. And me understanding that probably she's going through the feels, I was like, so I texted her, I told her I'll call you, check on the babies, yeah? And let me know if you need anything. Yeah. She didn't text back, she's ignoring. I said, okay. I just texted her back and said, okay, I didn't find you, I'll try again tomorrow. Good night. And that's it. So, in the reality of it, she probably is being avoidant. But if I decide now I want to go off of that energy, I might also just decide, okay, I'll ignore her, fuck her, fuck everything, I'll go in this other direction. But I'm not choosing that. Rather, my choice is I have a responsibility towards her in the sense of she's pregnant. She's dependent on me.
Yeah.
So I'm choosing to show up stable, calm, non-reactive, ignoring the emotional back and forth. Because I've already set the boundary of, okay, this is not how I want to show up, and that is not how I want even her to show up for me as well. So I won't put that on the center stage. So me showing up in this way of calm, I'm not really paying attention to that. I'm just more concerned about, okay, are you good? Do you need clinics? How are the babies?
Yeah.
And that's good. Beyond that, I'm not really inviting any other energy up until, it gets to that point when, okay, it can be in presence. If you're showing, because I'm showing up in that state of, and I believe that she can show up in that state of presence as well. So I'm choosing not to indulge in that back and forth or that high emotional tempo. Does it make sense?
That makes perfect sense. But I'm still curious to what end. It to me, it doesn't feel like you're sitting in your power. You're more so doing things to avoid the reaction of her, assuming that so that's why I was like, man, it's going to be I think this is going to be a longer conversation, which is just my assumption anyway, but look how it played out. So this is, all right. You're looking at life through this assumption that this person gets to choose how they feel about you. Like they have their own free will.
Yeah, kind of, sort of.
Okay, but everybody is you. So people are only vessels that hold your assumptions. So right now, your entire story has to play out as true. All right, she's moody, she's hormonal. So I already knew that. I already assumed that about you. So now when I hit you up, you don't respond. So now I have to stay calm and cool and collected just to avoid your reaction, because I've already assumed this is the type of person you are. So you're not changing the way that you see them. You're simply deciding that I am going to make a decision to be calm and not react to them, to protect my energy and hopefully avoid them blowing up even more. I'm seeing this person as somebody separate from my assumption. I'm just coping with reality. I'm not walking through my reality like I'm the actual creator of it. I'm just seeing all these landmines and I'm sitting here in a disempowered position and I'm just coping. I'm handling it the best way that I can. What I'm saying is to graduate from that. It's to get to the point where you actually start choosing your assumptions of people. Yes, you're hormonal. She's hormonal, but she's calm with me. She shows up in a loving way for me. She's always open to my help. It's changing my assumption of that person. And from once I change the assumption, now I do whatever. Okay, now I changed my assumption. Let's say that she's still hormonal. Okay, I've already changed. So she must be changing to match my new assumption. But in the meantime, I'm just going to navigate the situation as best as possible. Meaning if she's not answering, now I get to make a choice. If she's not answering, what could that mean? I can guarantee that you've told the story that because she's not answering, it means she's hormonal and moody and whatever, and she's been acting like this. Instead of saying that she just might be busy with something. But she's going to be so grateful when she sees my message and she knows that she has someone to help her. She's going to be so grateful that somebody is there that cares about our son. It's changing the way that you see reality and then navigating it however it is until reality snaps to match your assumptions. So that's what I'm talking about.
No, I deep that.
That's the movement, right? So we go from kind of reacting to the world to now creating these coping mechanisms. This is how I deal with reality. This is how I avoid, upsetting other people. This is how I deal with an avoidant or a Scorpio or this or that. To understanding the deeper truth is they can only hold my assumptions. They've only been out picturing and acting like a Scorpio because I've been constantly saying that this is how Scorpios are. They've been constantly reacting and doing this because I've been saying this is how my hormonal mother of my child is. They've only been acting distant because I constantly expect that. And now I'm hardening that assumption into absolute truth by continuing to react and act in the way that I'm perceiving them. So I already have a perception that you're going to be off-put by me. You're not going to allow me to help. And so now I'm just trying to navigate that to the best of my ability. I'm thinking that this assumption is unchanging and I'm just trying to do my best to survive in the meantime, hoping that one day you'll change instead of deciding that you will change and now allowing you to change while I now navigate the change. So it's the two different approaches.
Yeah, I'm still, for a moment I got it and then I lost it.
Okay.
Yes, deciding this is a reality. And
Let me
going on for a sec. Go on.
I was going to put it in a different way that might help you. So I want you to imagine right now that you are completely alone in this reality. You're just in a black void. You ever seen the movie The Matrix?
I have.
So there's a scene when Neo is kind of getting unplugged and he is in that little tube thing. He has to unplug himself from that little feeding tube and it's all these humans, right?
Yeah.
So I want you to imagine that reality is just this tube that you're in, right? And you're dreaming this reality right now, which is the truth of what's happening. You're dreaming this reality. This is why if right now you go to sleep and you have a dream, everything feels real and solid. This is why right now when you close your eyes, you can still feel and perceive where things would be around you. Because consciousness is still here around you. Like your consciousness is projecting everything. So right now, just imagine that you are in this void. And right now, there's this beam of light that's lighting you up. Okay, this is God. And within you right now are all the assumptions that you have of life. Okay, you have an assumption that women are a certain way. You have an assumption that money is difficult to get or easy to get. You have an assumption that this is how traffic is at a certain time. You have an assumption of people are nice. This is how this political party is. This is how this political party is. You have all of these assumptions that are within you. Because when you experience an assumption, when you experience a perception, oh, she's hormonal, you don't experience it out there. You only experience it within yourself. So you're constantly walking through reality and you have all these assumptions within you. Now, I want you to imagine that now you walk into the room with the mother of your child. You walk into the room with your kids and all of your assumptions that you are holding about them flows out from you. And it lights them up. So you have an assumption that this woman is hormonal and she's angry. And now that flows out of you and it lights her up. And now that vessel, which is her, starts to act the way that you expect towards you. You have an expectation that your parents, right, your friends are a certain way. And that expectation flows out of you and it lights up them. Okay. Now, if you change that assumption, it begins to flow. It's not that those people out there, like it pops into their mind. It's that it flows out of you and lights them up. And now they start acting a certain way. This is all reality is that you are constantly just holding assumptions. And your job.
Damn it.
Yeah.
I've been playing myself. I'm sorry. It's like, cause when you say that, I love dogs.
Mm-hmm.
And the one thing I tell people when they come around my dogs, don't act scared. Don't assume this dog is gonna bite you. If you act that way, it definitely is gonna smell that and it's gonna fuck you up.
Alright. You gonna kick the shit out that dog, bro. God damn. You gonna catch me on top of the table. But yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's that kind of assumption. It's that you have this expectation and it flows out of you, and our reality must obey. It must obey. Now,
I'm playing myself.
yeah, but the beautiful thing is that now that you know, you get to change everything. And so, do things happen instantly? Yes, because you change instantly. So, this is the next step, because typically I tell people this and they're like, all right, well, how long does it take? Because they're waiting for something out there to prove to them that they've changed. The key, the trick is to know that because you are holding all these assumptions, the moment that you decide that you are different, that everything is different, you have automatically changed. And because you have changed, now that assumption is flowing out of you, and now everybody around you must change. They must change. However long it takes, doesn't matter. They must change because you have automatically changed just by changing the way that you see them.
So basically, I'm a black hole, and everything exists within. And anything that I want to come to the surface will come and manifest in anything that I touch and see.
Precisely.
But the problem has been, and I think this is something that a lot of people living within the chat can attest to this. When you've been met with certain experiences, you tend to hold history and use that pattern to validate.
Yep.
Or to even reinforce a future, a perceived future, even a potential future that you haven't yet encountered.
Mm-hmm.
And this is probably why they say that children are the ones who inherit the kingdom of God. Because once Adam and Eve ate the apple, they were conscious of everything. They knew that they were now naked.
Mm-hmm.
They saw everything for what it is. And it limited them to even entering heaven anymore.
So, yes. However, this is the part where we have to give ourselves grace, right? So let's say that I decide right now, I've experienced lack, or I've experienced this woman acting a certain way in my life, and now I decide to change. Okay, cool. But now when I see her, I think of the old story. I have been so used. I've already decided that the truth. I've decided who I am now. So I've automatically changed. What's important to remember is that thoughts and emotions do not create reality. What I decide that I am is reality. So now I'm going to walk through life and I might be triggered by something that happened. She acts a certain way and the memory of the past shows up. What do? Right? Those things, the body has been so used, the mind has been so used to looking at this old picture that of course it's going to continue to look at the past. Of course it's going to continue to feel a certain way, feel doubt, feel anxiety. But that's perfectly fine. My job is simply to remember through it. Even though I feel this way, even though I'm thinking like this is just the body catching up to the new truth. That's it. I don't have to, it's like watching a movie, right? Just because you watch a movie 10 times doesn't mean your reality is going to change to that movie. Because you know that movie is not who you are. You get to decide, well, just because I'm thinking about the past is not who I am anymore. I'm who I decide to be right now. The emotions, they happen, they come and go, but I am who I decide that I am right now. And I just continue to remember that I've already made the choice. It's already changed. It's really as simple as that.
I can definitely feel that
Okay.
shaking off of my body right now. And I do know it's definitely going to come up in those situations where you see something and you want to stick to that validation because it feels familiar. But I do understand what you're saying.
Yeah, and that's fine, right? Just forgive yourself through it. And know that no matter how I feel, I've already decided what the truth is. No matter what I'm thinking, I've already decided what the truth is, right? The old story may show up because it does, like, that's just part of being human. That's part of the human experiences that we forget. But I get to decide who I am through that situation. Like that is where your power is. Your power is in remembering who you are. It's about choosing. And you mentioned the story of Adam and Eve. This is kind of metaphysically what Adam represented. Is Adam represents the conscious mind, the ability to choose who you are. Adam was given the task to choose the animals, to pick their names. You get to name all of them. You have dominion over everything in here. This is the same way that we have dominion. We get to name everything. This is what you are. This is what you are. This is the conscious mind. Right, like Eve, and one of the metaphysical meanings of Eve is the subconscious mind, right? So there's so much truth even wrapped up into that story, to where even the biting of the apple simply represents like the falling into duality. It's judging things as right and wrong, right? So for instance, because they bit into the fruit, they judged their nakedness as wrong. They thought that they were separate from God and they should be ashamed. This is the same way that when we walk through life, I will decide, okay, this is how this woman's going to treat me. This is how the reality is going to treat me. And then I walk through life and I see something different and I judge it as wrong. I say, because of that, it must be the old story. Because of that, it must not be working. I'm judging it as wrong simply because the birth, the human experience is simply the biting of that tree of fruit of knowledge, or the tree of knowledge of life and evil, good and evil, good and evil. Right? So now I look out at reality and I judge certain things as right or wrong. Instead of how we were supposed to be was we get to decide who we are as that black hole. We get to decide how everything is going to show up. And then whatever shows up in the meantime, we simply judge it as the perfect unfolding. That's how it's supposed to be. But we get so caught up in the illusion because we've bitten of that fruit that we start judging things and saying, oh, this is not working out. This is wrong. This is right. This must be the old story. It must not be working. When it's just reminding ourselves that no, it's all fine, it's all perfect.
Oh man, all love, my brother.
Absolutely, brother. All love. All love. Makes sense though?
It does.
Good. I know there was a lot of information, man.
Yeah, it was a lot of I felt it all through my body as well. Not gonna lie.
Good. I think that was helpful for a lot of people, because you allow me to break it down from where you are to how to get here. So I think that was helpful.
Asante. Thank you.
Appreciate you, brother. Appreciate it.
Hello.
What's up? How you doing?
Can you hear me perfectly fine?
Oh yeah, I hear you, brother.
But I just wanted to come on here, show you love, because you done, a lot of like words. Like you don't put my feelings into words, basically.
Appreciate
like
it.
a lot of things I've been feeling in my head, feeling in my day-to-day life. A lot of things that I had tried to put into words, I just couldn't. And, I had just recently had like an experience with some mushrooms and everything.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I just got to a state where I realized like I'm like really the only one here on some shit. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I'm literally like there's really nobody else. It got to a point where I just felt like I was honestly floating in space. Like I don't know how to explain it.
Yeah.
Like I was here but I wasn't here. Like it felt like something was like deteriorating. And
Yeah,
it was
look-
like all at the same time. It's like I was always thinking these thoughts. You can say sober mind or something like that.
Yeah.
But now that it actually got like yelled at me to my face, it was like a moment where I was scared, where I didn't know whether to like laugh or cry. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I kept laughing though, but I wanted to cry. And it just got to a point where it's like I always know. It's like all the way down to a point where I would walk downstairs. Mind you, I'm still on the trip, and I'm like around my siblings and everything, and I realized like, cause me and my family, we're all close, but we're not like the type of family to like, I love you or this, that, and the third, like be all affectionate with each other. And everything. And then it just hit me right there. It's like I'm the only one that's like kind of stopping myself from doing those things with my family. I kept saying like, oh, when this happens, I'm gonna do this, or when this happens, or when I get this money, I'm gonna help them do this. Like when I can do all those things right now.
Yeah.
Sense, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I don't know. It's like when I first got into you as well, cause I used to I don't know if you know, his name is Yash. And he was like, I started on like semen retention and everything. Which I thank God, or myself, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
I thank God for putting me on that, because now I realize I'm the one that gave the power to semen retention on some shit.
Exactly.
Like, I'm the one that gave it the power for it working through my life like
exactly,
that. So
bro.
I got
Exactly.
everything out of it that I needed, but then I remember I got onto you. I'm not gonna lie. Like the videos I was watching, I would be selective. I ain't gonna lie. Like I was selecting the ones I was more interested in.
Yeah.
And then I slowly started realizing like this is not like a one subject thing. Like this is like a generalization.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
it's life.
Like it's not just one certain thing in my life. It's everything in my life. And then I started thinking back to like you could say past quotation mark, whatever you want to call it, past life, this, that, and third on my past situations, and I seen how, or I was remembering how I was thinking in those situations, and I realized it's because of me on how it played out.
Yeah.
And it was all the way to a point where yes, like the mushroom, not gonna lie, I had to get a crazy dosage. I don't know what else. This is my first time taking mushrooms and everything. So usually it never works. I had something like 8 pieces. I don't even know. Like I don't even remember. I just kept eating them. So I was like, I want to know. Like I just kept telling them, I want to know.
Yeah.
Me and my homies, like they're on some different paths, but like me and them always have these conversations in a sense. You could say like they kind of call me crazy in a sense, but it's understandable.
Yeah.
You know, I think differently in a sense. Like they don't think the same way I think. So, and it's like now that I know these things and now I can put a name to it or like a label to it, it's like I'm in a spot where it's like, how can I say this? So like, there's 2 worlds colliding in my head basically. Like, I have 2 things that I truly want deeply, but it's like, I'll keep flip-flopping in between. And I don't know whether or not that flip-flopping in between will correlate to the outside, where like correlate in a sense where like now my whole reality is in a sense like constructed. Like it just keeps, I'm playing tug of war with my own self.
I see.
You know what I'm saying?
I see. Are they 2 things you can have at the same time?
Yeah, I could.
You can.
I could.
Hold up. Bro.
I don't know. How do I say that?
Yeah.
I mean, I could. You're right.
Well, what's the hesitation? What's the hesitation?
To be honest, I like to say like, such a thing, good graces. I like to say there's nothing that's having me hesitate, but I don't know. It's like I'm still kind of getting used to the fact, or getting it through my head, that like reality is me. Like I have control of reality. Where where my day-to-day life, certain stuff happens or certain stuff are not in my life right now in this moment. But you see, that's where I contradict myself. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
You see,
I see.
I don't know.
But bro, give yourself grace on the path, right? It sounds like you're coming into a lot of information and you're trying to get through it yesterday, right? You know what you need to know, right? You control your reality. You get to create your reality, but you also have to give yourself grace on the path, because even you saying, okay, well, dang, if I don't choose, is it going to mess me up? No. No, you can choose both. You can choose one after the other after one. But just your belief that, oh, I must be confused, so it's going to show up as confusion, that's going to show up as confusion in your life.
Oh, you're right.
You have that much power. You have that much power. So you can just, and you get to decide even, well, okay, I'm still processing this information, but in the midst of processing it, I'm still divine, I'm still whole, I'm still perfect, I am still source. And now everything can flow that way, right? Give me more information. Give me more ways to process this information in a way that makes it click for me. You can create all of that. You can choose to create all of that in your life. But I would say the biggest thing is giving yourself grace in that process. Because I've had big trips that have taken me a while to really process everything from. Months.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Because it was so much to the point where even like the next day, like my head, not even the next day, like as soon as everything went down, like my head was pounding. But all I kept saying, especially to my friends and my family, like I just told them like I'm forever tickled. Like I'm forever tickled in the sense where like everything is my doing. Like it was so scary. Like I didn't know whether to cry or laugh. I just kept laughing though, but I wanted to cry because I really realized like, yo, it's really just me.
Yeah,
like,
it is.
It's nobody else. It's like honestly just me, which I always knew. But since it's like being screamed in my face, because you know how like the mushrooms do you.
Yeah.
Like since it's just getting screamed. And I'm seeing boxes into boxes. I'm seeing how all the way down to the days of the weeks and the months on how I'm like complying to these things where like nobody told me to follow the days of the month. Nobody told me to follow the time or this, that, and third. I'm the one that's putting myself in the box. Or I'm the one that's telling myself like, oh, this is the right way.
Yeah.
And then now it's to the point where I question everything in my life because like now I'm like, who said? You mean?
Yeah, who told you that shit? Who said you?
Do it that way?
Exactly.
Like, who said that I have to believe in that? And it's all the way down to the fact, because, you know, my family is Christian. Like, my dad's a pastor and everything. You know, we're Haitian, you know, Caribbean. Like, they're real hard on that stuff.
Yeah.
And it took me a while, especially, like, these last few days, because, like, I want to tell them, not even tell them, but I just want to just let them know, like, I believe in God, but just not the same way you believe in God. You know what I mean? And it was one of those things where I started seeing, like, I had, like, I don't know what they're called, like, you know, like Jehovah's Witnesses when they come at your door and everything. I had people coming like that to my yard and everything, and they're, like, putting me in situations where I have to tell my people, like, oh, I don't agree with this, or I don't agree this way, I believe in God, or, you know, tell them what's going on in my life. And then it got to the point where even a few days later, they kind of, like, forced me to go to church one of them in a sense. And now they're asking people to come up to the front saying, do you accept God, the regular. And it's like, I told them now, but I see how it played out, and it was scary, but it was funny at the same time. I don't know, it's just funny to me. And I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Like, everything is just funny. I don't know.
There's no good or bad, right? It just is. My parents are extremely Catholic. I still go to church with them sometimes just because it's a way for me to connect with them.
Oh, yeah, exactly, yeah.
In the beginning, I had that same issue. It was like things were showing up that put me in positions to tell them my truth. And I did it, but I realized all of those things were simply showing up because of my fear and my avoidance of wanting to even go down that path. It was this, oh, well, what are they going to say? Are they going to annoy me? Are they going to try to talk me into it? Are they going to reject me? It got to the point where I just decided, look, I don't care about their belief. And I don't want them to care about my belief. I simply just want to have a healthy relationship with them. That was it. And so I went to that assumption, okay, our relationship is fine and healthy. So now our religious views are completely different. But my relationship with them is stronger than ever. And I'm able to speak about my religious views with them. Sometimes, not all the time. But the relationship is still fine. I'm not trying to convert them and they're not trying to convert me. So that's the way that I handled it. But I understand that completely, where I'm coming into this new realization and my family is completely different. Down to my uncles, aunts, aunties, grandparents, everybody is diehard Catholics and Christians. And here I am, believing that I'm God. All right, so it's, yeah.
I see what you're saying. And then another thing, what I've noticed is like there's these certain things like I want, and it's like I'll sit there and try to. You see, I hate when I do this because like sometimes I just answer my own question, but like I'll sit there and try to put these wants into words when I know exactly what I want, but I just can't put it into the words in that moment I'm in right now.
Yeah.
And it's to the point where I'm just, cause like I think deeply about everything. Like, since I think deeply about certain stuff, it's automatic with everything. So now it's like I'm in a forever loop sometimes. Like sometimes I get in like a loop where I'm just going back and forth with myself, and it's like it just feels like a forever thing. Like it won't stop. But at the same time, I still, give myself space to feel through that and understand, like, oh, it's okay, because this is the human experience. Like, this is what's supposed to happen.
Exactly.
I mean, you're not supposed to get everything the first try, or would it be what it is right now? So I understand that, but I don't know. See, I don't want to look for a technique or anything, but I don't know whether or not that could be a way for me, reminding myself, like, oh, no, it's okay. Like, you're God. Like, it's okay. We're taken care of. Like, it don't matter what the situation is right now. It don't matter because everything that you want, the person you want to be is who you are in this moment right now. You're just going through the unraveling, the perfect unraveling.
You just answered it. You just answered it. Yeah, the person that you are now is absolutely perfect. You are just going through the unraveling, right? You're just having the human experience as God, which is perfect. We come to this realization, I've got it. We try to figure it out all instantly, but that's not the point of it. Oh shit, my bad. But that's not the point of it. That's never been the point of it. The point of it was always to let this unfold, to let it unwind, right? To experience moment after moment. Oh, y'all, my bad. My bad.
Sorry, I can hear you.
All right, cool. Yeah, the point was, you got it, right? So the point is that you are God, right? And so you are already perfect. And the point isn't for you to understand it immediately. The point was for you to savor it and have the experience of time and the unfolding of yourself and the becoming and the learning of all these things moment after moment. It was to actually, the realization that you're divine, that you're God, is supposed to make this fun.
Okay, yeah. I'm starting to see that. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah. So give yourself, it's about giving yourself grace, bro. Give yourself grace on the path.
Say that one more time, I'm sorry?
It's about giving yourself grace on the path. It's about being okay with yourself, allowing things to fold as they are, and not forcing things to be something that would make sense to the logical mind. Just, it is what it is. But I am perfect even in the midst of it, and enjoy the unfolding.
And then my last question is, so like probably like a week ago, me and my homies, we always have these like, little debates or just conversations about, religions or anything that's happening in the world. So, I don't like try to force it on them, but like I speak freely on how I feel. And there be times where it'll be like, oh, like, so if so-and-so gets slapped and you say he didn't get slapped, but he said he got slapped, what does that mean? Like certain like stupid situations like that. I'm like, damn, like what do I say? Like I can't even say nothing to that because like I honestly like you're using like a stupid situation where I'm like, bro, like what are we talking about? You mean?
Yeah.
Or it's to the point where it's like prove them wrong.
Hold up.
But that's bad and that's good. But I'm like, everybody got like a different moral compass because you can say this is bad and somebody else will look at it as good. Even though that you truly think like, yo, you should go to jail for this, they think it's good. And it's like, I'm not saying that they're good for it, but like just how they think, they have an opinion. I have an opinion too as well.
Yeah.
So then it's like a forever loop going on. And it's like, at that point, do I just let them have it? Like, do I just let it rock? Like, do I just let them be free with it?
Yeah, I mean, what's the other alternative, man? Like, you can't turn God into a magic trick just to satisfy somebody's ego and need for instant answer. That's like somebody being like, oh, if you're God, just make the money show up out of thin air. Just pull $100 bill out your ass, right? I mean, that's not how God works, right? So I even getting into that kind of debate, right? It makes no sense. It's not. It doesn't become productive. So at a point, I just let that shit go. I let that shit go. To those who get it, they get it. Mm-hmm.
It can even get to a point where I know they mean by it, well by it. We all love each other. Like, those are my homies. Like, those are my day ones. I know they mean well by it. But it's you can, like, to them, like, you know, the situation I'm in right now or whatever's going in my life right now looks, in a sense, I don't want to say bad for myself, but they think it's like, yo, like, what do you mean? Like, are you sure this is gonna happen? Or like, are you sure you're gonna do good with this training stuff, this, that, and there? When I'm like, whole time I'm trying to tell them, like, trust me, like, everything that's happened all the way up to this moment, I understood why it happened, and I adjusted. Like, I literally seen, I had these thoughts, and it literally played out. Like, it got to a point where I was working at this job, and I kept telling my homies, like, everybody in my life, like, yo, I'm trying to go full time with the day trading shit, like this, that, and the third. I'm trying to go full time. Boom, I get in a car accident, like, a week before, like, I'm going back to work because they were doing renovations and everything. So as I'm in that, when I get in that car accident, I realized I've been telling myself this whole time, I'm trying to, you know, I'm 18. I just turned 18 recently and everything. And I've been telling myself, like, oh, I want to, you know, be a grown-up now. You know, I'm trying to take on these responsibilities. I'm trying to pay my own stuff. I'm trying to pay for everything on my own. And before that, I was on no insurance, no nothing. So now it got to a point where now I have to pay for the insurance. Now I have to pay for everything on my own. Yeah. And then, mind you, like, I think it hasn't even been a week. It's probably like 10 days later, I came to another car, and this was right in front of my job that I said I did not want to work at no more. And then it got to a point where the dude hit me, and he had ran off. So I couldn't go back to work because he worked in the same spot I worked at. So then he would have got all my tags, and I would have had no insurance. So that kind of put me in a, you know, situation where now I had to leave the job completely and actually go full-time day trading. And then now it's to the point where a lot of people in my life are telling me, oh, I don't know, man, like, it's not looking too good. When whole time I'm like, I know for a fact, like, it's a feeling like, I know for a fact, like, it's already mine. You mean? Like, it's generally already mine. Like, I don't care how the situation, like, I don't care if I'm down 5 payments, this, like, it don't even matter, because, like, I know for, like, it's such a strong feeling, I can't ignore it.
Yeah.
I just can't. I can't ignore it. Because I know what it is for me. And it's like, when it gets to that point, that's how I said, when I found you, it just put so much